expected. Says again. There we are. Made it. Alright, we're now online. Just stuff beginning.
Oh.
We are now online. Audio looks good. As I said on the note, we are doing a reverse 1990. Excuse me, a reverse 1999 stream. We just got a new patch called let me see, Lost in the Fog. Right here it's called London Dawning, I guess. An actual return to London. That's wild in reverse 1999. And look at this. Tooth Fairy, my favorite. Gorgeous. Alright, so we're gonna try to get through maybe half of it today, maybe a third, somewhere around there. And the main character, the story character for this one is Willow, which is this woman right here, who, while she's dressed up here kind of like a witch, she's also like a dancer, I think. Story mode. Let's go. First day back in London.
I'm ready to go.
I'm ready to go.
Please fasten your seatbelt, miss.
We need more volume from the game. Let me check that. In-game or system volume is fine. I bet I turned it down for something. Settings, sound, master volume. Alright, that's sounding a lot better. I guess we'll do this and then we'll go back and find a way to do the story. And here, let's do a plant team. Perfect.
Is this a new route?
Oh, that guy looks fun. Look at him. Oh, on the
Sir,
jaunty
I
music.
suggest you cover your mouth and nose. There's something off about this smog.
Christ, so the rumours are true. I never should have gone into an alley like this on such a smoggy day.
Squeak, Kiki.
He's looking at the end of the alley. He must want to go that way.
Oh, Flutter Page.
The smog's not as thick there. I think he wants to escape. Maybe the smog's harmful to him too.
Alright, this adds a bonus to my poison. This is poison right here.
This way, please.
Let's also use this turn to put that on. And
At your
next turn,
service.
I'll hit him with some Jessica
A bloody handprint on
poison
broken glass.
attack.
Classic.
He's there. He's there.
Look at all that poison on me, though. He's almost dead. It won't be a
Exceeding
problem.
your knowledge.
Crew, gather round. Knock, knock. Room service.
Oh, that got him. Took him out
Perfect
before I had
service,
too much smoke
just like
inhalation.
always.
Bollocks, bollocks! Turn over already, you stupid car!
The engine roars to life again, its pistons drumming the retreat as the car careens through the streets.
Why did Mr. Driver run away like the Sutakiki?
Sudikiki?
He
I
was
guess that's
worried
the
for
monster.
his car. If it got damaged, it could cost him his job.
Lose his job? Oh, got it. I don't want to lose my job neither.
The little girl gives an empathetic nod, but a child her age has no place in anything to do with the word work.
He has a car, so I wager he makes more than 6 pence a week. How did he get that job? Can I do it too?
I suppose you could, once you grow up. Here, open your mouth.
Tooth Fairy produces a shimmering jar of ointment made from ground golden fairy and lanolin, a concoction capable of soothing one's fear and swallowing a tooth fairy for the first time.
What's this?
You were hurt. It's a kind of ointment. It will numb the pain if you ingest it, or reduce the inflammation if you rub it on your wound.
Was I hurt? I feel a little pain. But what do you mean by inflammation? Does that mean I'll catch on fire?
Take it, and you will feel much better. Doctor's orders, kid.
Aww. The little girl's curiosity easily trumps her hesitation toward the unfamiliar. She stretches her neck and sucks Tooth Fairy's ointment-covered finger.
Huh?
It's a bit sour, like a moldy raspberry, but still sweet. Why aren't other pills as sweet as yours? I see. So you're a witch doctor, aren't you? I can tell from your metal mask, teeth necklace, and the golden fairies in your jar.
That is a reasonable assumption.
So you're here for the Uluru Fair then? Must be. You even got the flyer with you.
Actually, I'm here as a doctor to investigate a tuberculosis outbreak. But the strange black fog damaged the hospital I was heading to. I followed the trace it left behind to this area.
Black fog? There ain't no black fog. Around here the smog is yellow, and sometimes I've seen black smoke puffing up from the factory chimneys. But never in Cross Street, as like to be an arcane skill, miss. Lots of us arcanists here. That's why we're all chuffed up for the Uluru qualifiers.
Oh, she said chuffed up. I love it.
There's herbalists, psychics, diviners, magicians.
Thank you, Flutter Page. I think I've got the idea.
Left to her own devices, Flutter Page could recite the job of every arcanist on the entire street.
Great, then I'll show you around. You'll like it here.
Flutter Page grabs Tooth Fairy's hand and drags it toward the heart of Cross Street. To be continued. This brochure is issued to all Uluru qualifier participants and enthusiasts. Full details are found on the back. Uluru Fever. Fun, food, and the unforgettable Uluru. Come one, come all. The Uluru Fair is now open. Important notice, the champion of the borough voting has begun. Head to the central square of the Uluru Fair. 1 vote per person. Vote now. Announcement. The Mark Uluru Games are now open to all. Opening 3 main categories: shooting, racing, and ball games consisting of a grand total of 7 challenges. Enjoy the thrill of sports and entertainment, all for just 6 pence. Recommended venue, Victor's Cinema. The legendary Uluru Athletes documentary series is now in theaters. Don't miss out on Uluru Trivia Night, held every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Winners will be awarded 2 tickets to a featured event. Recommended booth, Puck's Fortune Telling. Match predictions and good luck charms await you at Puck's Fortune Telling. Alright, so now let's go back in here. Oh no, I wanted to... Okay, I see it. There's the play button on the side to do the story. I remember now. There it is. First day back in London. That's the yellow fog flutter page mentioned. Individual seats in the car. I'm ready to go.
Please fasten your seatbelt, miss. We're setting off now. You ever been to London, miss?
Yes, a long time ago.
Long, eh? 5 years? 10 years?
Longer than that.
Come on, Van. How long? You don't look 100 years old.
Yeah.
The hospital is 2 streets away. Oh, by the way, it's been arranged for you to meet Mr. Fogg first, and then he'll show you around the hospital.
I don't see why we need to make a big deal out of a simple visit.
Couldn't agree more, miss. But as this is an official visit by Mr. Fogg, as a servant of the Crown, you can rightly expect that they're going to have the old place decked out like Christmas.
Thank you for taking me there directly. I will go to Mr. Fogg's office after my visit. You can leave without me. I think I'd like to take the underground.
Give me a second, guys. Got a little moderating to do on second channel. At least it means the second channel's working. ban him. Oh.
The Tube? You won't like it, miss. Not the kind of place for a decent young lady. I'll wait here for you, love. I'll do my best not to crack into my flask of whiskey while I wait.
Okay.
Thank you. I'll be back soon.
Okay, it works there.
How are things at SPDM, Tooth
Maybe I need
Fairy?
to open it and
I'm
close it or
hearing
something.
rave reviews about their school physician.
I'm glad to hear it. Young children are particularly easy to soothe. A few candies and they'll behave just fine. A little toffee or a nibble of a fruity sweet and they've forgotten all about the Tooth Fairy's taste. A proper dose of sweets serves to calm the nervous system, and that doesn't just apply to kids.
She pulls a piece of milk candy out of her pocket and softly places it beside Madame Z's mug of strong tea.
Your work here is undoubtedly busier than mine at SPDM. Besides, you're directly responsible for our timekeeper, the little troublemaker. But
Aw.
I am sure you didn't summon me here all for a little chit-chat.
Madame Z unwraps the candy and places it in her mouth, allowing it to slowly dissolve. Then she places a stack of papers on the table before Tooth Fairy.
The Foundation has now confirmed the correlation between social turmoil and the emergence of the storm. Our branches around the world are now making efforts to collect information on this key social movement. As you may know, there was a strike that has only just ended in London. And there is something I'd like to show you, besides the strike itself.
Tooth Fairy rapidly flips through the papers. She quickly spots the crucial element.
Tuberculosis.
Indeed, there appears to be abnormalities concerning air pollution and reported cases of TB. Compared to our records before the storm, TB morbidity rates are extraordinarily high, approaching levels that shouldn't be seen until the Great Smog of 1952. Our Mr. Fogg, the fog walker, has also reported that there is something unusual about the composition of the fog.
Interesting.
So, we need an insider with knowledge of the storm to visit London. Ideally one with a medical background. I see.
I know your winter vacation just started, but I'm sure you understand the dire situation we find ourselves in. I'll apply for a special allowance for this field mission. What do you say?
I'd be happy to go. Perhaps I'll collect some rare teeth from this era.
Good luck then. Mr. Fogg will contact you when you arrive. He is our liaison between the Foundation and the British government. He'll take you to the hospital, handling many of these respiratory patients. You will be given full trust to resolve this problem. There is something else. The Uluru Qualifier will soon be held in London. It may factor into your investigation.
Uluru Qualifier?
Uluru,
Uluru
London.
London Qualifier coming soon. Arcanist Fair in Cross Street. Support your favorite competitors. Winners will represent Great Britain in the Australian finals.
Australia? They shipped my uncle off to Australia back in the day. I always figured he got done in by a kangaroo. But if the Smoky gets any worse, I think I might chance it. Maybe I'll find him in the outback there. Or at least avenge him.
Nice. With a tense frown, Tooth Fairy holds the flag. The Uluru Games are not our current focus.
That smoke seems to have severely damaged that hospital. But you don't seem concerned.
We've seen worse, miss. You wouldn't believe how many houses we lose a year to gas line explosions. Nothing much can shock us Londoners. It's a city where you can meet arcanists from all over the world. Arabians, North Africans, Indians and Japanese. Who knows what kind of arcane skill they can cast.
The police are on the scene now, but can they really do anything to clean up the hospital?
Well, police have got their own way of dealing with things. None too friendly. I think you should bring this up to Mr. Fogg. He's one of the few folks that look out for the working man, and he's never afraid of calling out the upper class.
I suspect Mr. Fogg will have known before we did. Let's follow the path of this dark soot on the street. Maybe we can find it, or its owner.
As you like, miss.
The car makes its way eastward, weaving through the increasingly narrow streets.
Seems it's leading us to the East End. Only thing that comes out of the East End are drunks, tramps, and Jack the Ripper.
The brakes screech as the car comes to an abrupt halt. The car shudders from some impact as a child's scream fills the air.
Bloody!
Bloody! A sudden stabbing pain strikes the nerve in Tooth Fairy's temple. She almost stumbles as she rushes to exit the car. The driver pokes his head through the car window, scrambling to justify his mistake.
Miss, I swear to high heaven that I have not had a drop of drink today. This is the East End for you. Either you hit someone, or someone hits you. Please, miss, take a look for me. Tell me.
It appears there's no one in front of the car.
No one?
I'm up here.
Hmm?
Look up there, miss.
Tooth Fairy looks up to see a flurry of papers fluttering and spinning through the sky. A particularly vibrant bundle of fabric resembling some kind of burlap sack hurtles through the center.
Can you catch me?
Huh?
The little girl's skirt catches the wind and she drifts weightlessly through the air. Colorful scraps of paper spiral through the air and swirl around her. They're all Uluru flyers still waiting to be distributed.
She's being lifted up on the wind. Is this her arcane skill? If so, she's amazing for her age.
She gently descends and seemingly headed straight into Tooth Fairy's arms, but at the last moment she shifts direction and lands softly a few steps
You
away.
lose. You ain't going to qualify for nothing like that.
Are you hurt at all?
Why would I be? It's not even as high up as a canary nest. It's no sweat with the help of little wind. But the Sutakiki was hurt. The car hit his waist.
Is this Sutakiki your friend?
Yes, but he ran away. He's probably angry. I bet he's still around. He don't forgive easy.
She points towards the shadowy alley to her left, where in a dark, smoggy corner, a pair of glowing eyes peek out from behind a garbage bin.
See? Over there. That's the Sutakiki. And I'm Flutterpage.
Could you bring your friend out? I'd like to make amends if I hurt him. Especially if he can't work.
Oh, he doesn't work, but you still need to apologize.
Flutterpage turns toward the alley, waving into the shadows to call over her friend.
Come on out, Sutakiki. This bloke here wants to apologize to you.
Sutakiki stirs in the shadows, disturbing the pale yellow smog before suddenly leaping forward. Oh, and here's the battle soon. Sutakiki roars.
That thing doesn't even have a waist. And he's as big as a kangaroo.
His waist is right there. Can't you see?
A frightened critter is dangerous. Please stay back, child.
Bollocks, bollocks. Turn over already, you stupid car.
The engine rolls to life again, its pistons drumming the retreat as the car careens through the streets.
Why did Mr. Driver run away like the Sutakiki?
He was worried for his car. If it got damaged, it could cost him his job.
Lose his job?
Oh, and this is the
got
part
it.
we already read.
I don't want to lose my job neither.
Sorry, I'm doing it out of order, chat. Shallows in the chimney.
Welcome to Cross Street!
Welcome to Cross Street. Feels like I'm in Christmas Carol with everyone walking around in worker clothes. Makeshift stalls line the street as the Arcanists celebrate the approaching Uluru Games. Flutterpage lets the last of the Uluru flyers slip from her fingers. They scatter as they soar on the wind and drift into half-open windows.
Stop littering, you grimy little bug.
This is the Uluru Fair!
Tooth Fairy inspects the street, studying the alleys on either side, but finds nothing.
The trace of the black fog seems to have disappeared into a large gathering of Arcanists. A wise choice. A choice, I'm already assuming, that has a certain level of intelligence.
Ultimately, she is only a doctor. When it comes to things outside of illness, she often finds herself lost.
It sounds like Monster. Like from Tall Tales where adults make up to scare us. But I heard people talking when I was sitting on the roof. They say it was born from a smokestack.
It does appear to have a similar composition to soot.
That's no good for the birds, Miss Doctor. I sure hope it don't come here. I don't want it to muck up the Uluru Fair, or scare the canaries away from the chimneys.
What's so special about the canaries?
They always know where the lanolin snails are hiding. All do is give them a bit of old bread or seeds, and they find me the snails. It's my snail catching day. Stay right there, miss. I'll be back soon as I finish. Don't go getting off your sauce while I'm gone.
Don't go getting off your sauce. With that, Flutterpage drifts towards the stall decorated with Union Jack bunting, before disappearing like a whisper on the wind. A gentleman in a fine grey woolen coat stands tall nearby. He is utterly incongruous with the rest of the street.
This is an Arcanist Fair Booth application form. You need only fill this, and get proper approval from the city government. Then no one can bother you.
Approval, eh? What's the point? The games will be over by the time they've even looked at my application.
Are we entirely certain we even want to hold the fair in these conditions? Don't you think weather now isn't appropriate for that kind of strenuous physical activity.
What else can we do? We need to earn our bread, or perhaps you could clean the air for us, hey, Mr. Fogwalker?
I'm doing all that I can.
Which means you can't do nothing at all, don't it? Yeah, we're coughing. But what we make in a day at the fair here is more than an entire week anywhere else. Not like we have royal allowances to rely on. Unlike you. Enough of it already. Now, would you mind moving aside for the little lady behind you? She's been waiting a while.
Oh, I do apologize, miss. Miss Tooth Fairy.
I didn't expect to run into you here, Mr. Fogg.
The pleasure is all mine, miss. Oh, where my manners. Welcome to London.
So it's different from Oliver Fogg. Maybe he's dead? Cross street. Local hurries by, letting out a sharp, violent cough.
Of course, we were supposed to meet in the office of the London Atmospheric Cleanup Committee. I'd have prepared a fine Indian tea for you, but I was called away to deal with matters here on Cross Street. It's a happy coincidence that you popped by. It will save us both some time.
Mr. Fogg awkwardly fiddles with his gloves, clearly embarrassed at the indecency of their meeting. Thankfully for him, Tooth Fairy seems more concerned about the issue at hand.
Something the matter? You mean the air pollution?
Not precisely, no. Though one could say the problem is related. In fact, it seems just about every one of our problems comes down to these sticky contradictions. For example, contrary to good wisdom, the people of Cross Street have opted to continue their fair, despite the obvious dangers of the fog. That's just unreasonable.
You're the unreasonable one here, mate. Stop the Uluru Fair on account of a bit of fog. Fog in London. Should we cancel if there's water in the Thames next?
Citizens should be made aware of the harm caused by fog, and reduce unnecessary outdoor activities.
Pardon me, you lot government officials?
A few busybodies gathered near the two of them, ready to catch the ladies' gossip.
You saying we aren't allowed to celebrate the Uluru qualifiers? So what are you expecting us to do? Just watch the games and then pop off home? It's not like there are many events left for us arcanists to celebrate in our own country.
Sir, you seem to have quite a severe cough.
Oh, it's not so bad. Just a little curse is all. Doesn't matter none. A good arcanist healer can cure me.
That's exactly what I've been talking about. A curse? Good lord, man. You have a disease called tuberculosis. You need a proper doctor, not a healer.
Maybe this is just how citizens in Cross Street best comprehend the disease. In the arcanist way, it's not a matter of arcanists or humans. Tuberculosis is caused by the presence of bacterium in the air. It can't be cured through ritualistic purification or exorcism.
You just don't get it, do you? It's not like that. If this tuber what have you is the reason, then why does my chest burn like hell? I've never heard of no bacteria what could do that.
You feel like your chest is burning?
Like swallowing a flaming coal it is. It all started this month. Never felt anything like this before.
Her eyes went so wide at that.
Like I said, there's no disease. This has to be the Fog Hag's curse.
Oh, nice.
She's the one who summoned this damnable black fog. She used to be a toad.
She used to be a
before she was
toad.
thrown into an alchemist's cauldron and came out as a twisted old hag that haunts our street.
Could you tell me more about the black fog?
The vendor remains silent, shooting a hostile glass down Cross Street.
Shh, don't say anything about it. It'll bring bad luck.
He coughs, raising his hand to scatter the attention of the crowd, then vanishes into the yellow smog.
So now we have a fog hag? What's to come next, I wonder?
He raises his hands in resignation, knowing that, as a gentleman, he should speak no further on the matter.
Sometimes, despite being an arcanist myself, it's hard to understand my own people. But that's what they think around here. My colleague is presently out investigating this curse, they mention. But, to say nothing of his intrepid skills as a ranger, I doubt he'll produce any evidence of this so-called hag. In fact, he...
Whistle! A long, sharp whistle cuts through the air, like that of a rider galloping across the plains of the land down. But what follows is not the sound of hooves.
Arthur, a little help, mate. We've got trouble.
A hat riding a hobby horse races forward, its coat fluttering in thick smog like a cavalryman returning from a reconnaissance mission. A dark cloud follows close behind him.
So, here it is.
What's that after you now, old hat?
It's the Black Fog. Seems I've startled it, and now it's sent our critters into the streets. Steady on. Let's charge like soldiers of the Great Emu War.
Listen.
The hag's cast is coming for us.
Those nasty critters are coming from her garden. Run!
We've got another battle. And we're on
Come
Plant
together
again.
to conquer this great wave. No, drives progress.
My child,
Bask in the sunlight.
at your service.
Don't! Whoa!
I must push on.
Your room is ready, dear.
hit that
Child,
and hit him with
Let's hit
this.
the waves?
knock knock.
Super poison from Tuesday. And that cleared them all up. Looks like, are we facing? No, we're not facing another.
And now to return to my long-term mission. Rest.
You didn't do anything there, Lucy.
May I say it was an honor to serve as your bodyguard, miss. I'm Brimley, the ranger colleague of my mate here, Arthur Fogg.
I wasn't hurt. Thanks to you.
Mr. Fogg lightly brushes the soot from his coat before walking over to Tooth Fairy. Despite clearing away most of the black fog, his expression looks grim.
Thank you, Miss Tooth Fairy, for telling us what happened at the hospital. We ought to make a summary of our investigation so far.
Seasoned government employees are particularly good at providing summaries. I doubt
We've
that.
encountered 3 oddities thus far today. This mysterious black fog, the unusual burning chest symptom, and
Carefully considers his words before bringing up the difficult third point.
this so-called fog hag living on Cross Street.
Well done, mate. You did it. You said it out loud. We may just break the ice of your soul yet.
I'm only doing my due diligence by quoting the title verbatim.
What?
Back to the topic. Combining these clues together, we should assume a causal connection. The hag releases black fog, giving Londoners this variant of TB with the burning chest symptom.
When did you move into 221B Baker Street, mate?
The Fogwalker shifts his gaze, knowing that even if he were to inhale a mouthful of that black fog, his face couldn't look any grimmer.
It's a reasonable speculation. If so, then the first thing is to determine if such a lady lives here on Cross Street. We'd better pay her a visit.
If you insist, Dal. I can already confirm that for you. She's here, all right. Down at the house of the mangy front garden at the south end.
Very well. But might I suggest we don't all go in a rush to pay her a visit? We know nothing about her, or even whether this hag is a danger.
A little figure squeezes its way in.
Boy!
Oh, I knew it was Flutter Page.
You done talking to Mr. Fogg and Mr. Hat?
Flutterpage, where have you been?
Hmm? Wasn't you listening? I was off catching snails, with a bit of help from the canaries.
Flutter Page lifts an old glass jar filled with snails.
Good on you, little tacker. That's quite the harvest.
Haha, little tacker. She tucks the jar away in the folds of her clothing, then lightly grabs the hem of Tooth Fairy's coat.
Shall we then, Miss Witch Doctor?
Where are you taking me?
Thought I'd show you around Cross Street. Figuring since I'm the best guide here.
Are you? Then, do you happen to know about the house at the south end of the street?
Flutter Page ponders for a moment before her eyes widen in realization.
Sure do. Actually, these snails are for her. You can tag along with me to see her if you like.
Conversation overheard as a carbon, I think that's not carbuncle? Carbondinkle? Basks in photosynthesis. Between the pages. What's this? Rubbish. Stop poking around. Rubbish. Ain't this the book? Don't you want it? Mind if... Excuse me. Mind if I take a butcher's? You wouldn't understand it. You're right, I wouldn't understand it. So what's it about then? Don't you have anything better to do? I ain't done any of today's chores. I haven't taken that package to my sister, or helped the lady next door with her little one like Mom asked. But I don't want to do any of those things. I just want to stay here a little longer. Insects are herbs with leaves and purple flowers. Maybe it's an adventure book? But about the adventures of a little creepy crawly and its friends? Can I draw a story for it inside? Can I? You just don't stop, do you? Can't you find someone else to entertain you? Or maybe I just have mug written all over my face. Fine, do whatever you want with it. Stay here for all I care. Just leave me alone, understand? Leave me alone. I can do whatever I want with it. Thanks, but I don't have a pen, do you? Here, draw it. Bugger off. Old house at Cross Street. The smog in the garden feels unusually dense. It has taken an almost milky, gelatinous quality. The damp, fishy air sticks to the visitors. Sparse ivy winds around the ancient stone wall, its bare roots clinging desperately to it.
This right here, miss, is the Fog Lady's house. As you can tell, it is a very big, big house. Not like mine. Mine is small, but very high up.
Oh?
Steep, tilted roofs, sash windows. It's very Victorian.
Oh no. Her name ain't Victoria, miss. At least, I don't think so.
No. I mean, Victorian architecture is a kind of style of house. I'm saying this house must have a long history.
Oh. Too right about that, miss. It's been here for ages.
Nice.
Come along then. I'll take you in.
Flutter Page doesn't knock, nor does she touch anything resembling a doorbell. She simply leads Tooth Fairy straight to the garden gate. Squeak, squeak. Several carbuncles peek out from among the vines before quickly retreating, their eyes still locked on the visitors.
Are these her critters?
You lot are hungry today, ain't you?
From the folds of her oversized frock, Flutter Page pulls out a jar filled with snails.
They ain't for you. They're for the lady of the house. Now please let me and Miss Witch Doctor through.
Squeak, squeak. The carbuncles refuse their entry, shooting out a few tendrils to form a blockade.
Sorry, Miss Witch Doctor. They was much friendlier before.
You've been here before?
Yep, they always let me in straight away. No clue what set them off this time.
Maybe it's Tooth Fairy. Flutterpage stands on her tiptoes, planning to hop over the barrier, but after a quick glance at Tooth Fairy, she abandons the idea.
I don't rightly know what to do. I try calling her, but it won't do much good. Even if she heard me, she won't come out.
You're saying she never leaves her house?
Not that I ever seen.
Do other people visit her?
No.
But you visit her often?
She likes when I bring her snails. You think she eats them? All I know is I gave her snails. And then she asked me to stay around her house for a while. When she's not in a sour mood, she even teaches me some words for arcane skills. But if she is sour, then all she does is hand me some books, and I can't even read most of them. Don't go asking her too many whys. If you do, she says, "Get out!" And you got to go. So far, the longest I stayed was a whole afternoon.
Nice,
I
Flutterpage.
see.
Tooth Fairy surveys the old mansion. To her, it looks like a small castle more than a house. She decides not to disturb the formidable witch dwelling within it.
Maybe I'm the reason they aren't letting you in. I'll just stay back here.
All right, then. Stay there and I'll tell her about you, miss.
The carbuncles lower their guard as Tooth Fairy retreats. The strange plants and critters in the garden clear the way for Flutterpage as she makes her way down the path. Flutterpage raises the small jar above her head, as if presenting some kind of token.
Miss? You hear me? Wakey, wakey!
Creak. The lock clatters heavily, and the hinges on the old oak door give a mournful groan.
Here you go, miss. A fresh batch of snails.
She doesn't respond. The witch's stare is on the unfamiliar woman by the garden entrance.
Who is this?
Well, I don't know her name, but she's a witch doctor. She came here in a car with a flyer of the Uluru qualifiers, so I think she's here for... Oh, I forgot that you don't like the word.
Hello, miss. I'm here investigating the source of the black fog. You can call me Tooth Fairy.
Go away.
But why? I ain't asked too many whys, miss, did I? That was only my first one today. Oh.
She realizes something.
So I can't come in at all? You promised you'd help me practice my arcane skill.
Then you better not let me catch you saying Uluru ever again.
The witch anxiously snatches the snail jar from the girl's hand and closes the door. The door closes.
Aww. Oh! She left me a book. Look, it's got a carbuncle on it.
Come here, Flutterpage. Are you all right?
I thought I could play at her house today.
Would you like to do something else?
Like what?
Like, see your new friend, Mr. Hat?
Mr. Hat?
What? See your new friend, Mr. Hat.
Miss Flutterpage, I'll ask you to not wear me on your head. I know I can fly, but that doesn't mean you can treat me like a kite. Besides, I'm due to begin my patrol. I need to do...
A gust of wind blows Brimley into the hallway, spurring Flutterpage to give chase.
That gives us some time for business. First of all, allow me to express my respect for your adventurous spirit. A haunted hag mansion whose owner feeds on snails. To visit her so quickly on your own initiative was a bold move, Miss Tooth Fairy.
He now has no choice to admit the existence of the witch.
Here's your tea. No sugar. Just as you asked.
And of course, he has kept the promised Indian tea at the forefront of his mind.
The connection between this lady and the black fog will require further confirmation. However, judging from our encounter, she doesn't seem to have much concern for the world outside her home. I also noted that the word Uluru seemed to irritate her.
Uluru? As in the Uluru Games? Not a fan, I take it. It's certainly odd for an arcanist to have a negative impression of the games, though not unprecedented. Which reminds me of this letter. I suspect our Fog lady might be glad to hear it.
Mr. Fogg places a voiced letter between the two of them. The paper swiftly transforms into a wide mouth.
Letter from the St. Pavlov Foundation Uluru Games Organising Committee to the Uluru London Qualifiers Organising Committee. Copied to the Office of the London Atmospheric Cleanup Committee. Due to the rapid deterioration of air quality in London and the presence of an unidentified arcane-related tuberculosis outbreak, we regretfully have decided that the Uluru London qualifiers will be cancelled until further notice, to protect the health of competitors and spectators. Competitors still wishing to participate are encouraged to register for the qualifiers in Paris or other cities.
The paper folds itself up and drops back onto the table. Mr. Fogg sighs.
I received this shortly after submitting my report concerning...
They're right. It's better for everyone's help.
No objections here. But it's certain to cause a stir. Miss Tooth Fairy, you saw how passionate the citizens were about this event. What it means to them. They'll eat us alive when we announce this. So much more so that it's cancelled because of air quality. The firm will not be pleased, I can assure you. This great city will be the laughingstock of Europe. If not the entire world. Unless there's a way to clean the air in London. Perhaps then I might convince the Foundation to reconsider.
Mr. Fogg, there's only 3 weeks left before the qualifiers. It's a serious effort just to address the smog over London, let alone this new black fog and the disease that has come with it.
3 weeks. 1 for making plans, 1 for enacting said plans, and still 1 more for the final procedures.
He slumps into his chair with his arms crossed and glares furiously at the voiced letter on the desk.
What are you doing now, Miss...
Thinking, Miss Tooth Fairy, is how I make the plans.
Grimly, fleeing pursuit, eventually finds his way back.
Forgive me for interrupting, Arthur, but I had to call off my patrol earlier than expected. I'm afraid I need a favor of you, Miss Tooth Fairy. Would you mind helping us with some of the sick? After that black fog rolled through, patients with this tuberculosis variant seem to be multiplying as fast as hares in the Great Artesian Basin.
Past glory. What has been engraved in your mind, seared into your sight, and etched onto your very being. Is it a fog walker?
Misty woods on paths concealed by haze. He thrice died and thrice was born in ancient days. Guide me rightly that I may not stray.
Okay. By the willow fire, a witch is dancing in the ground. She performs her dance alone. Only the shadows cast by the flames accompany her.
Flowers bear fruit, and beasts give offspring's way. With eyes of fire pierce through the cloudy maze. Failed again. Damn it.
She clenches her right leg, fingers turning white at the tips.
I won't get anywhere so long as I can't move right.
Squeak, squeak. The typically docile carbuncles are now locked in a frenzied shrieking match. What could have been a calming ritual has quickly turned into a bloodied war drum, and all because of a single misstep.
Enough! The last thing this haunted old place needs is another crazy creature!
Oh, she's got a great voice. Oh, look at that. Beast team.
Which of these darlings shall we attend to first?
Stats down, controller neg status. Smoke inhalation increases. Like, okay. Everybody gets poisoned. So anybody gets negative stats down, then everybody gets poisoned as well.
Perfectly understood.
Alright.
A simple arcane
Buff
trick.
Anjanala. Channel.
Perfectly understood.
I've got some trouble brewing. Oh, don't stare at it for too long.
Do you have a little faith in me, Master? Flee, mortals!
Ha! My crucible really has a mind of its own.
So if I move this over here, that'll allow those to combine.
Get
Now one of
ready. This is
them
going to be a crowd pleaser.
charge up to him faster,
Perfectly understood.
and I can kick one of them.
Wait for the pop.
This is one of my new characters, Lepera.
Feel my dark embrace.
I think she's supposed to work really well with Anjanala. She buffs 2 characters. And I think she also has something to do with channel status. She certainly has her own channel.
Miss Willow!
I swear to God.
She collapses by the willow fire, causing the intense flames to suddenly die down. She swiftly grabs a blanket from the pile to cover her legs.
Whatever thing you are, don't think I won't strangle you to death with my bare hand.
She struggles to her feet, but just as she's about to stand, one leg gives way. The little girl tumbles through the window and into the room.
Bloody.
She tries to lift herself up for the second time, but can only support half of her body. She looks up to find a little face among a pile of stitched and restitched clothes. There could be no more embarrassing or infuriating way for another to behold her.
You. What are you doing here?
I only wanted to show you the arcane skill you taught me.
Letter Page nimbly gets back on her feet, bouncing around as she shakes off the dust. Seeing that the girl is unharmed, the witch turns her face, hiding her fleeting look of concern.
But you are in a bad mood, aren't you? What happened? I promised I didn't call you Miss Willow in front of others. You said I can call you Miss Willow when there's just you and me, right?
And you actually listened? First time for everything, eh? But it's not about what you call me.
Then what is it?
She stares at Willow in confusion. Suddenly she realizes why she's lying on the ground.
Let me help you up.
I don't need it.
With a flick of her wrist, Willow's coat and hat leap onto her like loyal dogs. She tries to stand up for a third time, using the rough stone pillar beside her for support, and finally manages to straighten herself out.
So then if you value my words so highly, what about the time I told you I don't need a knocker-upper?
I remember. You told me there's no sense waking me up for anything. I don't have any work to go to. But I'm not here to wake you up, am I? I already did that for the whole street hours ago.
Oh, have you now? Then maybe you can buzz off and bother someone else. I didn't give my permission to let annoying little flies in my house. I'm in the middle of something important, so leave me be.
Willow grabs a broom handle, points it at the window, Flutter Page open.
Just one more question, miss. I'll be quick. Miss Tooth Fairy and Mr. Fog say you made people sick with the black fog. But I know you didn't do it. Did you? You never told me you can summon black fog.
Done with all that nonsense, are you? If that's all you...
But if you didn't, I can tell them the truth. Or you could even help them find the black fog. You're the best witch I know.
Their problem is no concern of mine.
Oh. But I did hear something. I was thinking maybe you'd like to hear it too. Letter from St. Pavlov Foundation. Due to... what? Deuterion air quality? And arcane tubal keeled kiss? They said the Uluru qualifiers are cancelled.
Stop, do you understand at all what you're saying?
No, but...
Go away!
Aww.
I said get out!
She seizes Flutter Page with both hands, half dragging, half pulling her toward the open window.
You know what I don't want to hear, lass? Your voice.
Flutter Page is flung out the window and carried away like a kite with a broken string on the breeze.
And your infernal knocking.
Yeah.
Don't you never take another step into my house. Never.
Crash. The room reverts to its familiar silence. No life save for its solitary resident, just as it has been for the past decade. Her hastily thrown on coat and hat slide to the floor as Willow leans on her right leg and limps over to the storage table filled with bottles and jars. There's still enough mucus left over from yesterday's snails for her to use. She pours the liquid from the jar into the cauldron.
Just a wee bit left.
She sets the fire alight, and the lubricant starts to bubble in the cauldron.
Eat snails? Let them think what they will. I don't care. The fog hag. A toad monster. Failed work of an ancient alchemist. Yes, of course. Charlotte O'Hagan. You're nothing but an ugly, evil, terrifying fog hag living in a haunted house. You just...
She lifts her eyes and gazes out the window. To her surprise, she can see the moon, a flurry of small clouds slowly making their way across it, and a flock of silhouetted birds swooping and swerving in tacit harmony. Like the white sheep that roam those vast rocky hills, like the witches in black robes who dance together in perfect unison.
What an age. At last, witches no longer need worry about being captured in their sleep, pierced on a stake, or burnt alive.
Our next competitor is our witch from Ireland, a once-in-a-generation talent!
The ancient rituals are different now. We dance, communicating with spirits like a joyful game.
The Uluru Games!
Or a graceful competition.
And the winner for the floor ritual is...
A desirable... I left the pot on.
The smell signals a point of no return for the lubricant, and its appearance confirms it as she sees a small blackened mass stuck to the bottom of the cauldron. Willow's prosthetic leg grinds and creaks as the joints rub against each other, causing her hip to itch.
Back. Fit for the rubbish now.
To be continued. Little Nako Appa. Yeah, I'll do that stuff later. As morning breaks, the rooster crows announcing the start of another day of hard labor for the people of the East End. In this land of industry, shipyards and factories, there is a dire need of coal, fuel, and the labor to sustain them.
Good morning, sir, madam. This here's your wake-up call.
Hey there, Tail Splash. Doing a terrible accent today, because we're back in London with Reverse 1999.
Rise and shine.
This story is
Wakey
about the
time.
London fog, which seems to have gotten... yes, hello chap. Which seems to have gotten really dangerous as they're preparing for their special arcanist kind of Olympic games called the Uluru Games. They just called off the local London qualifiers as they got this fog, and we're introduced to our three main characters. This here is the adorable Flutter Page. We've also got Tooth Fairy, my favorite girl, and new character Willow, who I referenced as a joke in my tweet. The real Willow in this game is a mix between a dancer and a woman who dresses up like a witch, and she's got dark poison abilities, which seem to be really good. I haven't gotten her yet, but I'm trying. And Flutter Page is adorable too. Maybe I'll get her too. Flutter Page looks up to the gray sky above. There is only a touch of blue, and no sun, stars, or moon to be seen.
Enough! I said enough with it, gal. I'm already awake, ain't I? So stop buzzing around.
The seasoned Nako Appa deftly dodges the basin full of foot washing water that has been flung out of the window and slips through the alley onto the next street. She still has a job to do.
Wakey, wakey. Morning's here.
Flutter Page gets her name from her abilities and maybe a little bit more. She seems to be able to float through the sky like some paper on the wind. She's seemingly very light of a girl, and might even stay up there so easily that she doesn't even need to be thrown like a paper airplane. She can just float around.
Mrs. Wilson, you awake? You can't be late again, or old Mr. Pig Eyes will be on you with his belt.
Meanwhile, she can talk fine here, but she has trouble reading, and her arcane abilities aren't that great either. So, as a young girl, she's looking out and asking other people for help to learn her abilities. She is
What
especially
happened?
cute, too.
Didn't she hear me?
Suddenly, she's shoved from behind.
Oi, who did that? Shut up already, Liberty. Didn't you know Mrs. Wilson was sick? She's sick? What's wrong? Doesn't hurt like swallowing a burning coal, does it?
Who told you that? Yeah, maybe. Plenty of folks have been getting that too. My dad says it's a curse.
Oh no.
It's not a curse, dummy.
I'm no dummy, Liberty. You are, believing anything what that hag told you. She's a dirty, ugly old liar. And she's the one who cursed everyone here. She's a toad. A toad
She's
what
a
can't get out of
toad.
her house to see sunlight. And decided to curse us all just because she didn't like the fair.
Have you gone off your rocker, Freddy? Just leave me alone. I got work to do.
Have you gone off your rocker?
That's work, eh? You call knocking on people's window work?
Or at least she's not breaking them. The boy rolls up his sleeve and pats his bicep.
I climb up in the steam turbines to tighten up the screws. And I clean them chimneys from the inside. Think you can do that, eh?
But I don't want to tighten screws or climb up chimneys. I don't like the smells.
Oh, so you like the smell of this black fog, do you? All thanks to your wicked hag friend.
Go away.
She whips a clothesline at the pole at the boy's knee with a sharp crack. The boy leaps toward the girl, but loses her among the heap of rags.
Huh?
He swivels his head toward the sound and stands there shocked, as Flutterpage deftly leaps over him.
What the?
The fog lady taught me this.
Lady? You mean that hag? I should have guessed. You'd be that ugly turd witch's apprentice.
Aww.
You're not my friend anymore.
Defriended. She runs off deeper into Cross Street. The old mansion looks just as it always does, from the strange garden to the ominous building half lost in the haze of the smog. Even so, Flutterpage is hit by an unusual feeling, one she can't quite place.
It's not snail delivery day, but after she threw me out of the house last time, maybe I'll go apologize. Maybe then I can learn some more tricks from her, or at least read her books.
The creature eyes her wearily.
Hello, hello. Now, why didn't you let Miss Tooth Fairy in last time? She's not a bad person. She even gave me some flying medicine. It was sweet and sour. You think Miss Willow's lonely? She needs new friends, and maybe some flying medicine too.
Squeak! The carbuncle seems to reject her assessment, leaping side to side in a clear display of defiance.
But this time, I won't go through the window. Not that I get why she was so mad. Was it that I stopped her from eating breakfast, maybe? Well, time to figure it out. I bet if I walk in from the front door, she won't be so angry.
To start at least. Flutterpage enters the garden like she always does, except this time the carbuncles don't make way for her. Roar! They leap at her.
What's wrong?
Flutterpage swings the clothesline pole, but fails to drive them off. They close in on her, malice in their eyes. Fortunately, reinforcements come galloping through the smog.
Miss Flutterpage? What in the blazes are you doing here? Good Lord, I hope you didn't get hurt.
Mr. Hat!
Miss Bartley, I'd advise you to please stay a safe distance back.
No. Just look at the state of this garden. Oh, Charlotte, what have you been through to fall this far?
Oh, does she know her? Another beast team.
Nothing unexpected. For now.
Perfectly understood.
Should do that one first.
Perfectly understood. Do you have a little faith in me, Master? Please, mortals!
Annihilated.
That's nothing.
Great, if I hit him with the Parazol,
Get ready. This is going to be a crowd pleaser.
and then I'll hit him with Andronella, does another strike. And Leperi can do another shot now that that's combined together.
Ready, aim,
Another channel.
wait for the pop.
Stay back, I say.
Took him out,
Dissipate.
and we'll see if this is enough to take this boy. Yes, it is.
Come back. I need your
Good job,
feedback on our
everyone. We
session.
hardly even got started.
Thank goodness, you're in one piece.
I don't get it. They ain't never bit me before.
Well, you must always stay alert when you encounter critters, even in a familiar place. That's some genuine ranger's advice.
A ranger? Are you really a ranger? Can you be a ranger without a real horse? Will I get a hat like you if I get to be a ranger?
Fortunately, A hat's range of expressions doesn't include awkwardness, or much else for that matter.
Hi, miss. Are you here for the lady living here?
Flutterpage circles the unfamiliar lady, looking her up and down.
Miss, you look a lot like Miss Willow, the fog lady. So straight and proper like a swan.
Nice.
Miss Willow, you said?
Flutterpage claps her mouth before realizing she wasn't the one to utter this name.
Yes, Miss Willow. Did she say you were allowed to call her that too, miss?
Allowed?
Even her sigh carries an elegant, melodious quality.
What kind of nutter has she become?
What kind of
Thank you
nutter?
for taking me here, Mr. Brimley. I can handle the rest myself.
She makes a gentle motion with her hand, signaling that she has finished talking.
You're welcome. Let's go, shall we? Hey, little tacker? It's not safe
Little
to leave
tacker.
you here. I'll escort you to the hospital. Miss Tooth Fairy needs your help.
All right.
Flutterpage holds onto Brimley's coat as the two of them leave the garden. She looks back a few times. Carolyn remains totally unmoving. It's as though she can converse with the owner of the house through her stare look.
I thought a hospital was a big building. This is more like a fair. Only with sick people.
Patients lie on the basic steel frame beds, their once pristine white sheets now marked with yellow and gray stains. In the face of such a scene, the bright flags of the Uluru Games now look lifeless and limp.
Well, you're right there, mate. It's not your typical hospital. Arthur's calling it the London Emergency Relief Centre for Special Tuberculosis Patients.
Arthur's gotten real fancy with his language, it sounds like.
But it's still kind of a hospital, ain't it?
She doesn't linger on this point for long. The image of the unfamiliar lady in Willow's garden won't leave her mind.
Who's that swan lady? She's not from Cross Street. How did she know Miss Fog Lady?
Swan? I suppose you mean Miss Caroline Bartley. We're hoping she'll be our lifesaver.
Mr. Fogg appears behind them, looking rather pale.
Lifesaver?
Exactly so.
There is a curious spark behind Mr. Fogg's eyes. He looks straight ahead as he speaks.
See, my hat friend. We civil servants can actually accomplish a thing or two. We found Miss Bartley, a shining star of Uluru, a talented competitor, and above all, she's an insider. She arrived in London days ago, looking for our fog lady. She claimed to be an old acquaintance. Some luck, isn't it? If she can figure out the connection between her, the Black Fog, and this fiery TB... Oh, speaking of which, that Miss Willow truly has a special name.
Heh. What are you laughing at? How long have you been up, mate?
A thought crosses Brimley's mind. His partner has probably slept all week. A burst of glorious vigor illuminates the fogwalker's face, like sunlight breaking through a gap in the grey sky.
Sleep? Who needs to sleep at a time like this? I'm more than energetic. I'm a veritable locomotive. Better than ever.
Arthur, you need to get some shut-eye, mate.
Is that what you think? That I'll just go back home for a little rest now? Now of all times. Dead wrong, mate. We've got rounds to make at the London Emergency Relief Centre for special tuberculosis patients. Come with me, my chapeau chap. We've got a city to save.
Mr. Fogg grabs the hobby horse and forcefully drags Mr. Brimley away with him.
Oh, all right. Miss Flutterpage, go find Miss Tooth Fairy, would you? She said your arcane skill might be of smell.
Nice. The two of them quickly vanish into the streets.
My arcane skill? Help? How can I help a witch doctor? Maybe Miss Tooth Fairy will tell me. But where is she? So many people here. I can hardly tell them from one another. Oh, but she has got those golden fairies with her. Maybe I can see them. Like how Miss Willow taught me.
To control the wind, you need to learn to see it first. Can you see the wind, lass?
Only when it's blowing something around, like dust or old paper. But I ain't got nothing like that with me now. I used all of it when Freddy tried to catch me. Is there anything else I can use?
What about the smog? She scans through the pale yellow smog, the fluttering Uluru flags informing her of the wind's direction.
Oh, I see it.
The wind picks up, and the flags, along with people's clothes, start to flutter in the same direction.
What with this wind, eh? Where's it coming from? Oi, me hat!
Oi, me hat!
Please, is there any good Samaritan who can spare a blanket? Oh, God bless you.
Nice. The smog dissipates in the wind. For a brief moment, the air is noticeably clearer in this small corner of the world. At one of the beds, a little golden fairy is being held by its wings and placed into a patient's mouth.
Miss Tooth Fairy!
Flutterpage, there you are.
She swiftly closes the patient's mouth, making him swallow her bizarre medicine, before walking briskly over to Flutterpage.
What's wrong?
We've got to find a way to clear up the sky.
Hopefully, we'll be finding more about Carol and Bartley and Willow. The oak door slowly creaks open, the inside air meeting the outside and stirring up a faint mist. She struggles her way through the garden, a brazier in her arms.
It's been near a week.
With every step, her right leg gives a painful creak. She looks at the half-open window. This week has seen a number of uninvited guests, but not one of them was the one she's been hoping to see. That curious little thing who flutters back and forth like a sparrow.
This is how the world works. I should have known. I'm always too naive.
She carries out her usual task of clearing the garden. First, she gathers dry twigs and leaves to use as kindling. Then she strikes a match, throws it into the brazier, and waits for the fire to grow. As the fire intensifies, she gathers the trash from around the garden, most of which is flung into her garden by her neighbors, and adds that to the fire.
A dead mouse. Classic. Sure to disgust me.
Willow picks up the decaying mouse and carcass and tosses it into the flames. The fire flaring up so fiercely it nearly scorches her eyebrows. In the early years, she would often watch from the window, her dark eyes fixed on the people who passed by.
Rotten apples and eggs from that boring old codger. I suppose he's down to his last teeth now. Soon enough, the only thing he'll be eating is porridge. Bit of comfort in knowing he hates porridge.
Even now, the old mansion's doors and windows remain firmly shut. The owner's face hasn't been seen for many years. All the neighbors know is that a fearsome witch lives there.
Hands burnt by steam. It's a curse. Bumping into ghosts during the Samhain. Curse. Lost everything betting on the ponies each and Every misfortune must surely be Willow's curse.
She picks up some garlic from the garbage bin. This simple seasoning can be repurposed as seeds or fertilizer.
Superstitious fools.
The only items that cannot be utilized are the wooden carvings with bizarre symbols on them, rumored to possess the power to ward off demons.
Shysters.
Demon banishing water is the most clumsy and silly item, but it's also the most manageable to deal with. Willow simply lets it be, treating the water poured into her garden as free irrigation.
Brats.
Brats. Salt. This is the worst offender. It dehydrates the plants, often killing them outright. She digs up the tainted soil ready to wash later.
Oh. Well, now these are new, aren't they? Blood-stained rags. Wonderful. Sooner or later, they'll all cough their lungs out.
Click-clack. The stiffness in her right leg is unbearable. Mosquitoes incessantly buzz in her ears. Moments later, Willow's leg gives way and she collapses into a patch of potato flowers. Soft, soggy soil. A limp, decomposing body.
No!
She smacks her prosthesis on the knee, as if the blow will set the joint back in its rightful place. She grabs the dirt as she fights to get to her feet, struggling. This is a struggle she's long grown used to. Squeak. Blurred by the sound of her strikes, the carbuncles slowly make their way toward her.
Away with you!
The critters scatter, ducking behind the leaves and watching her quietly from a distance. She clutches a vine with one hand, but it only throws her off balance, and she falls to the ground once again.
Horrible.
She is more proficient in the art of balance than almost anyone, yet she also finds it more difficult than anyone to adjust to even the smallest imperfection.
No. I don't need to cast my arcane skills. Stand up. Stand up. You loser, you. I need machine lubricant. I suppose I need to buy some.
Yes, so. This time she makes it to her feet. Clack, clack.
I can do this. I will do this. All by myself.
Her steps grow clearer, more steady. She grips the delicate metalwork of the gate.
Nothing to it. Let's go.
Clack, clack. Her leg clacking like a slow, mournful melody. She steps into the smoggy, somber streets of London. At the riverbank, there's a makeshift sign on the door.
Shop closed due to illness, while the owner has gone to Miss Tooth Fairy for treatment. Please leave your name, order, and address on the list below, and we will deliver it to your home as soon as the owner recovers.
She picks up the pen, then sets it down again without writing a single word.
Tooth Fairy. All right. Then I can find the owner if I go to this Tooth Fairy. Is she some kind of doctor, then? Not that she could treat what ails me anyway, eh? What other shops might sell canary saliva and lanolin snail's slime?
She wraps her cloak tighter around her body in an attempt to phone off the cold, damp air.
All this time I could have done this. If only I hadn't relied on others for so long. There must be another store for arcane supplies. But...
Clack, clack, clack.
I think I need to lie down.
The cold hues of the night still linger in the morning mist. Thames has never looked so quiet. Across the river, earth-red flags flutter like burning coals of balls of fire. A smattering of white emergency medical tents are scattered around them. A trampled Uluru Qualifiers flyer floats down to her feet, brushing against her ankle.
Sports fanatics. Black fog. Strange tuberculosis. All these things have nothing to do with me. All I need are my ingredients. Nothing more. I ought to just order what I need as a home delivery. Ask them to leave the package at the entrance of the garden once a week. As for the fees, I'll just have to sell all me old medals. That'll be enough to support me until I become a proper hag. There's something dark rising up from the water. It's nothing special. A bit of old rope. Or an old boot. Why can't it be a swan? A black swan? Here? Really? That's why you ought to go out more often. Else you'll miss these precious moments. A chance to see something special, like a black swan. Look at it. Some creatures are born with these smooth, pitch-black feathers. But it's only under the sunlight that you can see their iridescent shine. That's when all the other animals can only look on and feel themselves inferior. They can never stand out from the crowd in the same way. Your silence is an answer. I know it. Just as I know every time you lash out and curse, you're cursing your own failure. Walk closer, Charlotte. Why don't we take a better look at it? Look at its gracefully long neck, those magnificent wings, and how it glides across the water. All swans are beautiful, but only the black feathers make it truly stand out.
Interesting.
It brings back some memories, don't it? The feeling of being one with the swans, and the flow of each step of our dance.
So we have White Swan being Carolyn and Black Swan being Charlotte.
We were so close to
Willow.
perfection. All we needed was for you to spread your wings and fly. Fly to Paris, Cairo, Istanbul, and eventually to the Uluru Rock. Then it comes to me, and I can hold it in my arms, lift it above my head, this perfect, shining golden medal, standing on the Uluru Rock.
It's Willow. But what are you doing out here? You've got to move. Black fog is coming straight for you.
Ignore the noise. Eyes on the swan.
Tick, tick, tick.
It's only a tacky white swan, covered in soot.
Oh.
How ridiculous it looks now. Wearing that false disguise. The poor thing. It must have been covered accidentally.
Miss Willow, why are you looking at that swan?
Of course it's dead and gone. That's right. What kind of swan would want to be with something so ugly and stained? Of course it's ended up alone. Died alone. What else were you expecting? You didn't really believe that spread your wings and fly bollocks, did you?
Hello? Can you hear me, Miss Willow?
You ought to thank the black fog for lifting your illusion. Now you can see it rightly. You're not some special black swan that was born to greatness. You're nothing
Miss Willow, what's wrong with your leg?
but a cripple.
Come back for the pink.
Willow lowers her head to see that Flutterpage is standing at her feet. Tooth Fairy stands a few steps away from her, calling out to her. Flutterpage gently touches her prosthetic leg, revealing the secret she has been too proud to admit for the last 10 years.
Why? Why didn't you tell me about your...
You're much stronger than I thought, Miss Willow. If you allow me to address you as such.
Leave me be. I'm going home.
I'll walk you home. I got you. Miss Tooth Fairy and I was just chasing after the Black Fog, but I can walk you home first.
I just want to go home.
Willow uses all her might to turn, but she can't do it with any grace. Her stiff right leg continues to impede it.
I'll go with you.
She stretches out her hand and pulls at Willow's clothes in a clumsy attempt to stop her friend from leaving.
Flutterpage.
Willow swats her hand away.
Huh?
Stop following me!
Miss Willow!
I just want to go home!
I...
Flutterpage remains in place, her eyes suddenly filled with tears. Tooth Fairy steps forward and pulls her into a hug.
I don't want you to follow me.
They look on as Willow shakily walks into the smog, each step grinding a little more of her dignity. On to brunch. Let's see what we've got here. Alright, about as long as normal. Brunch.
The floor ritual is one of the most popular events of the Uluru Games. It has a bewitching style that generates a resonance between the dancer and audience. Charlotte was a genius. She was born for it. And God has sent her a coach covered in dark feathers and skilled in ancient Celtic runes. Coach Raven taught her the primal witch dance that ignited a fire within her. At least, until that tragedy 10 years ago, which took her leg. Coach Raven had given her a pocket of flower seeds as a reward for all her diligent practicing. It said they were from the druids in the forests of Glastonbury. I guess she planted them around her house and got this garden. Now all these bizarre plants share the same strange air with their owner.
Interesting. The plants in the mansion's garden are all drooping toward the ground. There is a new sense of weariness that wasn't present during Tooth Fairy's last visit. The woman by the door gently shakes her head as Flutterpage crawls around on her knees, searching for bugs among the foliage.
Thank you again for having me over. That's all I have to say about Charlotte.
Flutterpage's head pops out from under the plants.
What's a druid? Is it a place? Do they have canaries and snails there?
A druid isn't a place. It's a title. An identity.
Identity? Oh, like a name. Just like Flutterpage, right?
She quickly falls back into her own musings.
Thank you for your cooperation, Miss Bartley. I'm sorry to be taking you away from your practice.
Yes, you should be. I don't much enjoy being bothered by stuffed-up bureaucrats.
The accomplished floor ritualist has never been one to hold back her words.
But if you ask me...
Carolyn glances once more at the narrow window of the old Victorian house. It's tightly shut.
I will tell you that it isn't Charlotte that's summoning the Black Fog. I stand by that. I swear it, on all my honor as an Uluru competitor. We're witches, but not in the traditional sense. We practice witchcraft to win medals instead of summoning devils.
We trust you at your word. It seems like that concludes our investigation into this fog hag. Thanks again, Miss Bartley.
Miss Tooth Fairy, if you do want to thank me, mind doing me a favor?
Tooth Fairy nods, but Carolyn seems to have an unusual hesitation as she deliberates over her choice of words. In the end, she yields.
Please do something. Anything to bring her out of this hole she's dug for herself. Whatever you do. Break down her door, drag her out by her hair, even blow up that old mansion. Just don't let her hide in her stupid house. She'll let you inside now. There's no longer any power preventing you. I can sense it.
You know this place well. Have you visited her here before?
Carolyn bites her lip, holding back the words on the tip of her tongue. Then she walks away.
I think Miss Bartley wants to come in with us.
Maybe so, but she's made her choice. She doesn't want to join us inside.
Tooth Fairy shakes the jar in her hand, not containing her usual tooth fairies, but filled with a collection of lanolin snails.
Let's go, Flutterpage. We still have work to do.
Whatever you say, Miss Witch Doctor.
Two of them step cautiously into the garden, the soil compacting under their feet. There is nothing left to obstruct their path. They step around a few threatening-looking plants as they take the winding road to the creaky oak door. Tooth Fairy goes over to knock, but the door swings open the moment her knuckle hits its surface.
The door isn't locked. Let's get inside.
Willow sits at the table, prepared for one, surrounded by an exorbitant amount of half-finished food. Aside from the full English she's currently tucking into, there's a Scotch egg, a half-eaten cod and chips, and a steaming apple crumble.
Sorry to interrupt.
Willow casts aside basic manners, neglecting to invite her guest to sit, and cuts herself another piece of sausage.
Diets high in sugar and fatty oils may well lead to stomach illness, Miss O'Hagan.
She continues to eat her lavish brunch.
I choose the name Tooth Fairy instead of my real name, Campbell. But did you choose to let people call you Willow? Or do you prefer the name Charlotte O'Hagan? That is the name of an excellent Uluru floor ritualist.
The crash of silverware interrupts her once more. Then Willow sweeps her arm across the table. The silver dishes clatter loudly as they fly to the floor.
Tooth Fairy. Some kind of doctor, right? I think your prescription is a little fuzzy. I'm no athlete. I've only got one leg. This Charlotte has nothing to do with Willow, just like I've nothing to do with the Uluru Games.
So far as I know, the Uluru Games do not exclude people with disabilities from full participation.
To be sure, but only if you enjoy parading yourself around for embarrassment. I think I'll pass, thanks.
No one should feel embarrassed by competing, least of all the competitors challenging themselves. That is the point of the Uluru spirit.
Willow rises with great effort, furiously stamping the floor with her prosthesis in the process.
Excuse me? I don't remember having asked you for a running commentary.
I'm sure you already know the answer in your heart. You have wisdom and experience.
Who even invited you here? It's time you leave.
I'm here representing our mutual friend, Flutterpage.
At the mention of this name, Willow pauses and takes a step back.
What for?
I understand that usually the only one welcome inside is Flutterpage, but I'm here to apologize on her behalf.
Apologize?
She places a small jar of snails on the table.
What's this?
An apology gift. She ran off a little before sunrise to collect these for you. She collects these arcane creatures you use to make the lubricant for your prosthesis, right? But she's afraid that you'll get angry at her again. So she asked me to give it to you.
Oh, I see. Now I'm the hateful, angry, wicked witch.
No, you're not. The things that these people say about you, they aren't true. As I mentioned, Flutterpage wanted to apologize because, quote, she didn't want to break your heart. Miss Bartley has told her many things about you. She never knew you're such an outstanding competitor.
Caroline?
Tooth Fairy slowly pushes the jar of snails closer to her.
So, will you accept her gift?
Willow delicately places her fingertips on the jar, neither pushing it away nor taking it.
Ugh, nosy little brat. Where is she now? In the temporary hospital?
You want to see her?
The witch's features twist like a knot.
Don't push me!
She pulls the snail jar closer to her.
All right, it's my own fault. I shouldn't have treated her that way. That what you wanted to hear, is it? Fine, then. You'll have what you want. Just take me to her.
She's waiting by the door.
What?
Flutterpage cautiously peeks out from the edge of the doorframe, her wide eyes scanning the room for any sign of danger.
Miss Willow.
At this point, there is no turning back.
Fine. Come on in, then.
Unable to deal with her emotions, tears well up in Flutterpage's eyes once again.
Stop your crying. Listen, I shouldn't have treated you so wickedly the last time. And the time before that.
Tooth Fairy gives a silent nod.
Now would you stop that crying? At least not here in my...
Without a moment's hesitation, Flutterpage charges toward her. Willow's hands open and close like a spider raising its front legs in fear. She's not sure whether she can catch this chaotic bundle of rags.
Oi.
Bang. She manages to catch her, only to be knocked back to the floor.
I'm sorry. I'm really very sorry. I swear I won't break into your house no more. I'll only come in when you let me. I'll do anything you ask. Say anything you need me to say, miss.
She unconsciously looks to Tooth Fairy, only to see that her full attention is directed at the Uluru floor ritual painting on the wall. Willow gently taps the back of Flutterpage's neck through several layers of old clothing.
So, could I still come around again sometime?
Willow presses her hand to the girl's mouth, stifling her sobs.
Stop your crying first, lass.
Okay, I'll stop crying.
With a soft push, Flutterpage drifts into the air like a sheep caught in the wind. Even with the removal of Flutterpage's weight, Willow is left on the floor, unable to get up.
Can I help you?
Flutterpage moves closer, reaching out both hands in line with Willow's. She takes the offered hand and rises steadily, the sudden gust of wind helping her find her balance.
Enough. Enough. I've had too much of this for one day. Would you mind if I politely asked you to leave? You do have a black fog to chase after all, don't you? Just so you know. It truly has nothing to do with me.
Miss O'Hagan.
Call me Willow, child. What else do you want to say?
Would you let the food stay in your tummy for a bit longer? Eat a little more. I don't want you to be so skinny.
Willow pries Flutterpage's arm from around her waist, gently pushing her back.
All right, now leave me be, please.
Tooth Fairy takes Flutterpage's hand, and as they leave the room, the old house sinks back into silence. There is no sound save for the heavy ticking of the grandfather clock.
She's seen too much of this embarrassing side of me.
Raining fish? When you need a sharp eyes to spot value, a touch of arcane skill, and a talking hat.
So, I dreamt of eating a marshmallow last night, but it tasted like rubber. And the next day, my wife asked me why I ate the cotton she had in her nose. I said it's because the air was so dirty that I wanted to block up my throat. And she laughed. Of course, she says it might be better now that I can't shout and holler whenever someone scores.
A burst of static fills the air as the radio's owner changes the station.
These are the highest level of professional arcanists. Their abilities lie far beyond the limits of our bodies, our perception, and everything else.
Arthur, mate, do you know what you're doing?
Go on, then. Be a little louder. May as well let everyone know a trusted servant of His Majesty's government and his talking hat are hiding out in a pile of litter.
Oh, that's what you're worrying about? I guarantee you, no person in their right mind will think that a brilliant mind such as yourself would decide to hide in a rubbish pile pretending to be a potato.
Ha ha. Since when did you become a comedian?
I learned from the best, mate. Once I'm back in Oz, I hope to be awarded the title of Duke of Sydney Slapper. Not that anyone gives a toss about titles of nobility back home. We've got more important things to worry about in the Redlands down under.
You know, Brimley, old chap, you don't have to be a duke to be above people. All you need is someone tall enough to wear you on his head.
Bloody oath, mate. Like I'd let anyone pop me on their head. I'm an intelligent being, not a bloody accessory.
Shh.
Small monocular peeks out from among the garbage.
Look at that sailor over there. See the ropes in his hand? That right there is presently the most valuable material in all of London to me.
Right, a bit of rope. And what about it, mate?
It's essential that I have it for my invention. We'll just wait for him to throw the ropes into the pile here, and then we'll be off. Just as simple as that.
Right.
Come closer. Closer. Ready now. He's nearly here. It's no longer useful to you, son. Just throw it down.
Bowl of freshly extracted fish guts is poured over him.
Mate, there's a lot of good that's come of being awakened. I treasure all the adventures we've shared. But I'll tell you right now, I wouldn't have awakened if I knew I'd end up in a rubbish bin covered in fish guts.
Just a little mistake. Just a little mistake.
What are all these for, exactly?
Mr. Fogg gestures for Brimley to come over. Then with a crowd whoosh, opens the large sack he's been filling for the last 3 days.
These are my collections so far. A klaxon, a watering can, a fishbowl, and
a chamber pot.
Despite his lack of facial features, Mr. Fogg can sense Mr. Brimley's disdain.
You've gone full bonkers, mate. You're the fog walker. Aren't you ashamed of hiding in rubbish, stealing old junk?
It's not junk, old chap. Every piece here will be invaluable to our work.
Mr. Fogg's face hardens as he turns his gaze toward Brimley.
Each one is a necessary component for my invention.
Nor yes.
Your
obviously.
invention?
For... Ahoy, sailor! You over there, please wait!
Mr. Fogg's attention is clearly still fixed on the sailor.
Would you mind terribly leaving us those old ropes you've got there?
Good lord, he's bound for the sanitarium at this rate.
Move along, no pushing. Everyone will have their chance to vote for their favourite competitor.
Nice.
Oi, Sweeney, you only pushed me out of the queue. Good bloody job, mate.
I'm voting for number 007, Molson.
Molson? The first timer? Not all your life, mate.
I'm down for 005 Bartley. She's the top seed.
The alley is full of stalls for the Uluru qualifiers. A crowd of people is gathered, their faces painted with Uluru symbols in anticipation of the event.
3 days to the qualifiers. Vote while you still can. Sir? Oi! You over there with the black brolly. Come on over and vote for the winner. Oi, mister, stop your pushing.
I'm terribly sorry.
Sorry, mate, we're on patrol.
Sir, we have a situation over there.
Let's follow them. Now, introducing the competitors for the Uluru London qualifiers.
Bartley! 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 Oi! Who pushed me?
Ouch! Mind your step, will ya?
Oh my.
Me? Was you that pushed me, weren't it? You should be the one minding your own feet.
Arthur, I think we're only making things worse trying to move through this crowd.
Looks like we found our troublemakers. What do we do?
Keep up with them and bring him in.
Yes, sir.
Oh no! We're gonna get into a fight. Alright, recommended none. We've got a great team right here.
Show me what you got.
More fog conditions, of course.
Perfectly understood.
Debuff. And combine, like we do for the first
allow
time on
me.
a lot of these.
Please, mortal!
Alright, and she's taking out one. She's taking
Get
out
ready.
two.
This is going to be a
Perfectly understood.
And I'll channel again. We'll do on this one. Melania's stunned from that attack.
Ready, aim, wait for the pop.
Keep calm.
Did she really do any damage?
My crucible really has a mind of its own.
It's got 8 bullets. And I'll use this
Planet.
one from Melania.
Do you have a little faith in me, Master?
That did plenty of damage right there.
Finally, it's just you and me, Master.
Arthur, next time, don't get me involved. I think I'm feeling sick.
But he gave us the rope after all.
Mr. Fogg grins as he looks at the small length of rope in his hand.
Stop right there!
He turns his head, and there standing behind him, are 2 constables.
Seems you two rough sleepers are wanted in connection with a fight breaking out on Cross Street. I'll ask you to come quietly and cooperate.
Mate, say something.
Wonderful. Now I have everything I need for my experiment. The properties of this sea-worn rubber.
Mate, shut your gob for a minute and listen.
Yes, perfection. But how to measure and screen the size of the particles? We will need more sophisticated equipment. Huh? Why am I being handcuffed?
Because you're being placed under arrest, sir.
The moment the 2 constables draw near, they freeze in place.
Wait a second.
Their eyes widen.
Mr. Fogg, is that you?
Yes.
Bloody hell. Are you seriously telling me you recognize Fogg before me? How many talking hats do you know?
Terribly sorry, gentlemen. I might not have recognized you through all this fog, were it not for that iconic umbrella of yours.
Oh, naturally. Just as I've somehow failed to recognize the two ignoramuses that tried to handcuff a hat.
The shorter constable gives a series of subtle eye signals to the other.
We're sorry again, Mr. Fogwalker and Mr. Brimley. But we do need to ask you some questions. What with you running around, disturbing the peace, and nicking all these strange things you've got there?
Oh, I didn't steal anything. This is all just rubbish, and it's for official business. I'm going to lift the fog from London.
The two constables pause for a moment before their faces break into awkwardly sardonic smiles.
I see. All just a terrible misunderstanding, then?
Yes.
Naturally, a bit of old rope, a car horn. Unmistakably the latest in technology.
Yes.
Anyways, mates, best we let you go. You've got a city to save. We'll be off now.
With the handcuffs removed, Brimley takes a moment to stretch.
Glad that's over. I'm no fan of handcuffs, even if I don't have any hands.
A little quiet, old chap. I'm just in the middle of a thought. How might I assemble it?
I'm sorry, mister, but I just heard what happened.
Little Lisa?
Huh?
Neither one of them had noticed the little girl who had appeared before them. She only looks half as old as Flutterpage.
Did you say lifting the fog, mister? Are you really going to get rid of the big, scary fog monster?
She blinks, her eyes bright and sparkling as she stares at Mr. Fogg like a little goldfish in a tank.
Will that mean you can cure my mummy? And bring back the blue sky?
Brimley glances at Mr. Fogg.
Right?
When no one responds, the little girl grows anxious.
And then we can still have the Uluru Games.
Her eyes dart back and forth between Brimley and Mr. Fogg, looking for any trace of comfort.
My mummy said if the fog keeps sticking around, making people sick, then the games won't come.
A faint sob starts to creep into her voice. Mr. Fogg crouches down and shakes his sack of treasures, spreading them out on the ground.
Mate, this really isn't the time or place.
A klaxon, a probe, a spoon, and a spool of weathered rope, assembled like so. Perhaps using a large pot, or a baby's bathtub.
He furrows his brow, absorbed in the task at hand. The girl gets on her knees, and she leans in to get a closer look.
It will still need a touch of the miraculous.
He gently blows into the base of the glass vessel. There is a crackling sound as a few sparks of light flash briefly in the glass container, before a long, steady light is glowing within.
Voila!
It's breathing.
The machine hums as it draws in the air, filters it, and releases through the other side.
Yes! The Uluru qualifiers will not just be fog-free, my little friend. They will be sunny. But I'll need some help. Would you and your friends join me in this project, young lady?
The little girl's face blushes red.
Yes, I'll help. I'll ask my grandpa, my mummy, and Auntie Martha to help too.
The more the merrier. We are going to build the largest fog purification machine on Earth. The London Air Pollution Auto-Detect Cleaner.
That just looks like a great honking big vacuum to me, mate.
Sulis, all life's offerings I bring, as sacrifice to you from the growing spring. The light will sprout within the world's egg lay. Your endless quest brings parents' joyful day.
Parents' joyful day.
What are you, a parrot?
After hanging upside down in the upside down pose of a ribbon dance for an hour, Willow finally decides to break the silence.
Fine. Keep on then. Annoy an old woman to death if you like.
Another bad mood, eh, Miss Willow? This one's your worst this week. I counted it up. Every 32 hours, steady as a clock. You start scolding me, scolding the plants, the ants, even flowers.
I thought we'd agreed. No more peeking round my house without permission.
Yeah, but you didn't kick me out, did you? And you gave me some rye bread and lemon jam. Don't quite know why you keep trying to act the big meanie, Miss Willow.
Oh.
I know you're a softie now, deep down.
Oh no, she has a weapon over her. Rip. The ribbon suspending Willow finally gives way, sending her quickly to the ground. She hits the floor with a heavy thud.
Miss Willow!
Ouch! Oh, it hurts.
Are you practicing the qualifiers?
A distant voice reaches her. The corner of Willow's mouth twitches.
Hello again, Miss Swan.
A blonde woman stands on the other side of the garden face, her face half covered by the curled stems of a carnivorous plant. Hesitation and challenge.
Be careful. Now you can spit it out. Right.
Puke. Vomit plunges into a bucket. Tooth Fairy doesn't spare it a second thought.
That's the 5th one today. I added a bit of powder into the candy to loosen up their phlegm. It should help them breathe a little easier.
Thank you so much, Doctor. We really had no idea what to do with this new variant of tuberculosis. You and the Foundation have been a real asset to us.
You're welcome. This is a matter of vital health for all of us. I'm very glad to see the treatment is proving effective, and I hope that our clinical experience here might contribute to solving this fog curse as well.
All I'm hoping for is for this mess to end soon, so we can go watch the games together.
Really? So the staff here are fans of the Uluru Games as well?
Not just the staff. Everyone here loves a bit of sport. We're always listening to the broadcasts over the radio down in the ward. It's all quite motivating. Sometimes we even get the patients out onto the commons to practice. Something about the coming of a big sporting event always brings people together.
That's all very good to hear. But actually, it was this poster that grabbed my attention.
She points to the small poster pinned beside the bed. The picture is faded. It's too difficult to make out the face of the athlete.
That's gorgeous, isn't she?
May I ask who she is?
She happens to be this patient's favorite competitor of all time. She collected all of her posters and clippings. She even keeps a few photos of her as a bookmark, and in her purse.
Okay.
Her favorite ritualist.
Looks like you haven't had a proper guest in ages. Have you forgotten how to make a cup of tea?
You like to presume, don't you? So why are you here then? Just to enjoy the sound of a door slamming in your face?
Oh, how terrible of me for wanting to visit an old friend.
Aww.
So then, Miss Bartley, you came all the way down from Yorkshire just to gawk at an old rival? I should feel lucky, should I? Truth is, I don't care to chatter about with you. Not now, not ever. So you can just turn around and march yourself home. Flutterpage, back to business.
After glancing at Carolyn, Willow turns and gives Flutterpage a look. But Flutterpage is too busy staring at Carolyn, her face vacant.
Why'd you send her away like that? She just wants to practice with you. She likes you.
Focus on your stopwatch. On the count of 3. No time to waste.
She's still there.
She's none of our concern.
And you ain't seen each other in a long time. Bet she misses you a lot.
For Pete's sake, Buzzy. No one does something like that just out of the goodness of their own heart. She has her reasons.
Flutter Page obediently closes her mouth but can't help herself from giving Carolyn a reluctant glance.
Charlotte, you know she's right. I have missed you. I want to see you. But if you really want to know the reason, I want to challenge you again. The question is, do you?
Nice.
Do you know her? Charlotte O'Hagan. Oh, right. That's the name. Truth is, if it weren't for our little patient, I doubt I'd remember her. Most people think she's too old to compete now, that she's retired to God knows where. Others say she's become an addict, wasting her life away. I guess I heard in the gossip rags that some people think she's keeled over and died. Too bad for this young lady, but I doubt we'll ever see her in the games again. Wherever she is. She's like as not to lose, even if she did compete.
You just want to announce to the world you've beat me, eh? Think that'll be a fair challenge, do ya? Perhaps you ought to find someone a little more your speed. Someone who's still in one piece.
She's so grumpy.
Again, Miss Bartley. Please turn around. I haven't any sort of tea you'd like.
You have changed, haven't you, Charlotte?
After a brief moment of surprise, Carolyn throws a ribbon at Willow. The ribbon lashes fiercely, grazing the side of Willow's body before shooting past her.
What the blazes are you doing? What?
Carolyn pulls the ribbon back to her, the cup landing squarely in her hand. She stands there calmly, her eyes still on Willow.
You just said you don't have any tea I'd like. But I think this one is just to my taste.
Wow, Miss Willow, that ribbon is amazing. It can go from long to short in a second.
A little toss of the ribbon to take control of an object at a distance of 10 meters. Catch an object after a turn. You did it. Well done. But your aesthetics were lazy. You're controlling the angle of your left shoulder, which is good, but it only means you're compensating for your poor stance.
What then? Are you expecting me to say thank you?
No need. Thank yourself for all that hard practice you must have done over all those years. You're almost good enough now. Almost. Keep the cup. Let's go back to our timing, Flutterpage.
All right. Goodbye, Miss Swan.
For a moment, Carolyn stands there motionlessly, cup in hand. Then she gradually lowers her eyes, places the cup on the fence post, and turns to walk away. She has barely walked a few steps when Willow's voice reaches her from behind. Not loud, but clear.
Oh, the ribbon technique you just did. I know you learnt it from me. From my performance at the Beltane exhibition match. Am I right?
The tone of her voice makes it almost impossible to simply walk away.
Excuse me?
Each and every move, you copied it from my routine, right down to the ribbon.
What?
Miss Swan, your face is all red, like my daddy's face when he reads a funny joke in his punch books.
Me? Learnt from you?
You were taunting me right in front of my face, with my own routine. The very innovator that made it. I suppose it was just an attempt to win my approval, was it?
You really think that, don't you?
But I'm afraid you're not different than when we last competed, Caroline. Aye, you're diligent. But you were never graceful enough. That's what holds you back from glory in the floor ritual. Your aesthetic sensibility, it's all you've ever needed. But you still don't have it, do you now? You won't make any real progress reusing my old routines.
Not unless you find your own way to express your pneuma and your own signature.
Shame and regret slowly creep across Carolyn's face as she struggles to contain her anger. Then it bursts forth.
You really are full of yourself, aren't you, Charlotte?
Well, she's an artist.
Do you know how many titles I've won at the international tournaments? The Desert Floor Ritual Open, the Aurora Cup World Championship, and many others. The name Caroline Bartley has long surpassed yours. I am the uncontested top seed in these games. The records of my skills, my own skills, are in the training manuals for new witches. Do you even know anything about the state of the competition these days? The rules and scoring systems are entirely different and higher in every way. The limits you once broke through are now considered standard for beginners. Ha! But indeed, I learnt it all from you. Face it, you've been left behind. You're no longer the model of perfection. You're just a shooting star that shined too briefly but eventually fell away. I am the rising sun. My name will be eternal in this sport, long after yours is forgotten.
Willow smiles, her back turned to Carolyn.
So be it. Go on. Be the glorious sun, and leave this fading star alone.
Carolyn stands in shock as a couple of doves take flight, leaving behind a few drifting feathers.
Aunt Martha!
Lisa, you're back. We were just talking about you.
About me? What about me?
About your dream and your favorite competitor.
Oh. Oh, you mean Charlotte O'Hagan?
Yes,
That's great! But Mr. Fogg needs us for a project. He says we can still have the games if we all work together. And maybe everyone will be able to attend the qualifiers. Maybe even Charlotte O'Hagan.
A project?
What sort of project?
The girl's cries draw the attention of everyone in the hospital, creating a buzz of confusion.
Give me a break. What are they planning to do this time? Another useless build that won't pass the House of Lords?
Sorry for interrupting. Did I hear you mention Mr. Fogg?
Yes, Mr. Fogg. He said he's making something that will lift all the fog from London. It's his great invention. With everyone's help, we can build a huge machine. But he says we'll need lots and lots of things, such as, pistons for the mechanic lung, and...
Calm down. Steady footsteps grow near, and a large hand tousles the little girl's hair.
I'll take it over from here. Thank you, Lisa.
Mr. Fogg!
Mr. Fogg?
To be continued. Dust-covered pearl.
Miss Willow, I think the water's been shut off. I opened it all the way, but nothing's coming out.
Letter Page tilts her head as she brings it in close and sticks her little finger in the faucet, feeling only a few drips of water. Drip, drip, drip. Dangling in midair, Willow wipes the beads of sweat from her face.
Go to the water resource office and ask the staff what's going on. If they're not there, they're probably at the gin barrel.
I know you want me to leave, but how are you going to track the time and score without me?
Drip, drip, drip.
With a heart that's pure and a body lean, to the hunt I go through forest green.
Her wand unexpectedly slips from her left hand and plummets to the floor.
Back! Pick it up and keep going, Charlotte. The movement's correct. First spin, then run the geranium over the shoulder, let it slide down the back, and as it falls to the ground, step on it to hop into the air. Then, Sulis, Sulis, all life's offerings I bring as sacrifice to you from the growing spring. Ugh, this is all wrong.
She halts, wrinkling her brow.
Flow needs to be smoother. All right. Let's try this again. The sprouting light within the world's egg lays.
Thud. She gracefully descends from the air, her mechanical prosthesis squeaking softly as she lands.
Hooray! You did it!
This element requires a 720-degree turn. I haven't even made it to 600.
Oh.
Once more from the beginning.
Droop, droop, droop.
Your endless quest brings parents joyful days.
Thud. Her body has collapsed on this rotted wooden floor countless times today, and with the setting sun, each fall feels heavier than the last.
How about this time?
I did it.
You did what?
I completed the element. I did it.
Blimey!
Blimey!
So you mean you did that move you've always talked about?
A 2.5 turn with free leg backwards and upwards. Wand throw and catch.
Does that mean you can complete the ritual too?
Yes.
Willow examines the geranium in her hand, the tender pink leaves quietly resting in her palm. Not a single petal has fallen or been harmed in any way.
All right. That's enough for today. It's supper time. Your mother must be waiting for you to come home with beef stew, fried fish, and bread.
But why? You usually train for about 3 more hours.
Not today. I need a break. I'm totally exhausted.
Flutter Page stares exactly where she is, showing no desire to move.
Why are you still standing there? Do I need to get His Majesty's limousine to pick you up?
Oh, I get it. If I don't leave now, the critters in the garden will bite my ears.
She mumbles onto herself as she quickly makes her way to the door.
Good. I won't see you off.
A gust of wind blows in through the door as Flutter Page makes her exit. With a flick of Willow's wand, she slams it shut behind her. The room settles back into its muted, oppressive stillness. Drip, drip, drip. Willow steps into the pale yellow light of the kitchen and shuts the door behind her.
Bloody, you filthy little stain. Whoever gave you permission to stick to my cauldron?
Willow sits beside the sink, absorbed in cleaning her cauldron.
Look at me. I have a whole sink of dishes that haven't been washed. And here I am, fighting a little stain on a cauldron. And when the water's just shut off too. I did ask Buzzy to visit the Water Resource Office. Hopefully it didn't slip her mind. If she even knows how to use it. Never mind. I can clean it off without water.
Are we gonna fight the stain itself? What is this?
Come together to conquer this great wave.
Oh my, is that the cauldron with the stain? It's wild! poison
This way,
ball.
please. It's for your safety. You're waking it. Just keep calm, please.
Let's see. Can't combine that yet, but I can just use this if I need to.
Want to hit the waves?
Another hit.
Gather round.
Devote yourselves to one another.
Well, because they have a ton of
Sway,
poison down
sway,
here.
my little boat.
Nothing to kill them. Alright. And that's it.
Perfect service, just like always.
Got it. You stubborn little thing. Everyone loathes you. Avoids you like the plague. You're just a pathetic little stain clinging to what you can. Do you have no shame to sully the sacred floor with your artificial leg? So what if you finish the element? It won't bring back your leg. Without it, you're no different from a clown. How could you possibly compete again? You're not qualified. No. I'm not. All the money I spent on this leg. All the efforts I made to finish the ritual. They're utterly pointless. When was the last time I ate dessert? Or even a chip, for that matter. Year after year, I've trained harder than the last to make up for my leg. But what's the point?
She flings the scrubbing brush into the cauldron, and her heavy breathing gradually slows down.
Forget it. Everything will be all right. Just give up. Stop thinking about it. Stop hoping. Don't look back or ahead. Just look at the cauldron.
Beneath the dim light, Willow raises her now sparkling clean cauldron to eye level.
See how clean it is now? Stop clinging to places where you don't belong. The world is perfect without you.
The rusted faucet suddenly spatters a blast of water. It splashes across the counter, startling Willow. Willow leaps back with the reflexes of a true athlete. Her gaze quickly falls on the piece of paper on the table.
No!
She dashes forward, snatching the paper away from the raging spray of water. It is the registration form for the Uluru London qualifiers. Her hands, clutching the form, begin to tremble. Before long, the tremors have engulfed her entire body.
Still intact. Still.
Carolyn stands at the center of the sports field in her training gear, feeling the fiery pulse of the ground beneath her feet.
Hey! Oh! Miss Bartley! I finally found you!
Flutterpage, is that you? I can hardly open my eyes in all this wind. Where are you?
I'm right here!
The wind subsides as Flutterpage makes a hurried landing nearly losing her balance.
You've been looking for me, have you? How did you find me?
I knew where you were staying in London, but you wasn't there when I arrived. Then, the landlady Erica told me to try the training field. Looks like she was right.
She was. I've been training here every day. You know, to settle in before the event.
Good luck then. Actually, I've come here to deliver a very important and urgent letter to you. Here.
A letter of challenge?
Bold, crooked letters scrawled across the top proudly proclaim the letter's importance.
I, Liberty Grove, on behalf of Charlotte O'Hagan, hereby challenge Caroline Bartley to see who will become the champion of the floor ritual in the Uluru Games. No matter if you're a seeded player, a champion, or the son you say you are, Charlotte O'Hagan, the only floor ritualist to master the 2.5 turn with freed leg backwards and upwards, 1 throw and catch, will defeat you and win first place in the London qualifiers.
What? You mean...
She's back, I guess. Clang, clang.
Out of the way! Out of the way! I found the perfect component for Mr. Fogg's machine!
The boy darts through the bustling alley, slipping between the hats and the smog, and landing among the crowd at the corner of the square. The machine, about half the size of a person, is at the center of everyone's attention. The crowd members whisper to each other in excited
This
tones.
allows us to analyze the composition of the atmosphere.
He lifts his head above the crowd, his voice cutting through the chatter.
If the color of the filter paper meets that of the pollution stamp, it will determine that the air is polluted and start working automatically. Let me show you.
Heads turn as the crowd stares intently at the measuring tool in Mr. Fogg's hands.
Excuse me! Oi! Mr. Fogg, look! I found a glass stopper! It's the one you were looking for, right?
Stopper in hand, Freddy pushes eagerly through the crowd toward Mr. Fogg.
Oh, you found it. Yes, that's exactly what I need.
He gratefully takes the stopper.
Your attention, please. This glass stopper is one of the core components of this machine, which can harness the power of the sun to purify the air. Of course, this is only one component of many.
Are you done talking? We've given you everything you need. Where's our purification machine?
Quite right! We need to see the...
Discontent and suspicion start to surface among the crowd.
No need to worry, folks. Believe me, there is no one who wants this purification machine to work more than I. So, I've been doing some experiments.
Arthur! Wait!
Here!
Mr. Fogg looks through the crowd, his eyes bright with intent, prompting the crowd to part a path along his line of gaze. Brimley, Tooth Fairy, and 3 dock workers appear at the end of the path. They're hauling a cart, carrying a heavy machine.
Forgive me for not helping move it. I'm afraid I'm handless and horseless. I can't do a thing.
What the bloody hell is that? Some kind of mechanical freak?
Not to worry, Brimley. Now, folks, take a look at this. Thanks to your generous donations, my experiments on smog removal have finally come to fruition. Introducing the London Air Pollution Auto-Detecting Purifier Mark II. A high-power, multi-functional air-cleaning machine.
It looks like a pair of lungs.
The current model can only operate for 3 hours at a time. But I'll continue to improve its performance before the qualifiers begin. It's estimated to last a whole day by then.
Wonderful! Simply wonderful!
Cheer erupts from the crowd.
No more smog standing in our way!
Goodness. I can't remember the last time I saw the sun and breathed fresh air. I feel as though I've been rotting.
Amidst the raucous celebration, Brimley takes a moment to glance at Tooth Fairy, who is standing silently off to one side.
It's an honor to see that sweet smile of yours, doll.
I think I'm inspired somehow. I've always felt like a bit of an outsider in London, but this festive atmosphere makes me feel a sense of belonging.
I totally understand. Though I awakened in London, my true home is the land down under, thousands of miles from here. In some ways, I'm an immigrant. This sense of belonging is a treasure.
Nice. Alright, but we need to see it actually work and see what it'll do. These two from the Foundation. Inside the sleepy car, the radio broadcasts a variety of live updates.
Yes. As an East London resident, my chest swelled with pride when I learned that the Uluru qualifiers would be held here. I couldn't wait to see what would happen.
That's your 9th sneeze since we got here.
Don't blame me. I didn't even want to come. The Uluru Committee ignored my application to stay at the Australian headquarters. They couldn't find anyone willing to come to London with all this smog in the air.
They didn't have much choice either, mate. The Foundation's been preparing for the qualifiers in London for ages. We'll suffer huge financial losses if it's cancelled. Someone has to make the trip to decide whether we should cut our losses or continue to throw money at it. You must have done something to be the lucky one who has to do the job.
Holy!
The car screeches to a halt as a group of sooty critters scurry by the front bumper. As the shuffling subsides, the engine revs up again.
I do apologize. These little monsters are all over the streets these days.
He sounds so calm. You'd think he was just talking about stray cats. You have to admire the stoicism of the Brits, especially in the face of all this. Honestly, this environment's totally unsuitable for any kind of outdoor activity.
The Foundation member says nothing, quietly jotting down something in a notebook.
Hey, what are you doing?
Making note of the crash that almost happened. These records will be used to decide if the qualifier should be cancelled. Someone has to be the doer, since we already have a whiner on the team, eh?
With a sidelong glance at the scenery beyond the window, the man under the mask exhales softly.
Look at all the decorations and posters. So much preparation for an event that won't even be held.
I'm surprised they even want to hold the qualifiers, given the situation.
Gentle silence fills the car. Its clarity is soft and blurred as the yellowish smog outside.
Anyway, let's make it quick and get this job over with. Let me see. We need 2 things. Evidence that proves the environment isn't suitable for holding the qualifiers, and the profiles of all the participating athletes.
Next, the changes made to Cross Street. Let's see what the local community has done to prepare for the upcoming event.
The driver reaches a trembling hand to the radio and quietly turns the volume knob to its minimum. On the busy street, a crowd gathers around Mr. Fogg and his purification machine. After some further iteration, its performance is greatly improved. Beside the device, the sign originally reading London Air Pure Pollution Auto-Detecting Purifier Mark II now reads Mark III, thanks to the single additional brushstroke. 3, 2,
1.
Start!
He pushes the red button on the machine. The contraption, pieced together from household goods, has a glass container housing a solid metal mechanical lung purifier. It comes to life with a deep rumble. Bit by bit, the yellow smog hanging in the air is inhaled by its gaping vent. Wow. Eyes wide with wonder, the people watch as the wood around them gradually turns clear.
Wow. Look, Dad. Are those clouds in the sky? They're so white and fluffy.
Yes, so fresh. I've never felt anything like it.
Hey, I can even see Keaton's store 50 yards from here. Hello! See, Keaton's waving back!
A wave of joy ripples through the crowd as they erupt into excited conversation. Tooth Fairy watches Mr. Fogg. He's staring upward. There is no celebration from him, only a quiet contemplation.
The first week is for planning, the second for execution, and the last for delivery and paperwork. Looks like you've completed the tasks as scheduled. Are you relieved?
Mr. Fogg stands there, still staring at the blue sky above.
This Tooth Fairy. The sun is so golden and warm.
Don't mind him. He's all over the place after working non-stop for the last few weeks. He's just trying to say he's happy, that's all.
What about you? How do you feel?
Me? The Ranger's soul inside me has always wanted to gallop beneath the blazing sun. Yahoo!
Brimley charges forward, gliding merrily over the heads of those around him. Tooth Fairy watches with a gentle smile. Then something catches the corner of her eye.
A critter? No. Is that the black fog? What's it doing here?
Guided by the traces of arcane energy, she takes a few steps over to the corner. A faint, shadowy haze momentarily clouds her vision, vanishing just as suddenly as it came.
I thought the black fog was a result of the increased density of regular smog in the air, but it seems I was wrong. Mr. Fogg's machine has cleaned up the smog around us, but the black fog's still here, and it's getting thicker. How curious, at least now. Without the smog covering its trail, I can sense its movements more clearly.
Following her keen senses, Tooth Fairy slips into a narrow alleyway. Her nostrils sting as she enters the trail of the black fog. Doing her best to wave it off with her hand, she continues to follow the trail of the enigmatic presence. Something tiny and black seems to shudder in a corner deep within the alley.
What's that?
The black creature springs into motion, vanishing from her sight in the blink of an eye.
Huh?
Now doesn't seem like the time to focus on that black little lump.
The smog's back.
The smog rolls back in, but this time it has taken on a thick, blackened quality, and it's accompanied by a handful of unexpected intruders.
I did hear that these little things tend to gather in the quiet alleys of Cross Street. Perhaps they'd like a visit from the Tooth Fairies.
Wow. Is she about to get into business? Green.
Is this a new route?
Poison buff.
My child.
Boost Jessica.
Experience fuels knowledge.
And mass attack.
Group, gather round.
At your service.
Plenty of poison for her to be buffed. Everyone gets poison. Poison buff is down, so it's up to
Flash in the water.
Jessica can do a ton of damage. And
Sway, sway, my little
both
boat.
of these would not be, yeah, they're dying.
And now, to
Lucy
return
had
to my
enough. She was able
long-term
to handle
mission.
the other one, even without her own action.
Slipped away at the first opportunity.
She can't make out where they went through the thickness of the smog.
I knew it.
Slightly fatigued, she pauses to tidy up her hair.
But what exactly was it?
Old wood.
Which would make the world a better place? Art or a heart of gold? Neither! The little knocker-upper Flutterpage will.
Flutterpage knocks on Willow's back door, but she receives no answer.
Where's Miss Willow? She should be warming up by now.
She walks a short loop around the perimeter of the house.
Where's she gone? Miss Willow? Miss Willow!
Silence.
Knock, knock. Don't jump to conclusions. Mr. Wind will tell you the truth.
A gust of wind picks Flutterpage up, rising her high in the air. She sways as she glides in through an open window.
Knock, knock. I'll open all the windows and doors, and all the treasure chests too. Miss Willow? Miss Willow? Miss Willow? What are you doing over there?
In a dark corner, Willow stands silently before a peculiar object. She senses Flutterpage, but doesn't turn her head.
You're early. Why am I not surprised? You're about as patient as a dog waiting for his dinner.
I thought you'd start practicing as soon as you woke up. What you doing in this corner?
Willow softly rests her hand upon the item before her.
Come take a look at this. I wonder if it still works.
The peculiar item sits still.
What a strange thing. What is it?
It's the sort of instrument called the didgeridoo. Come give it a try. First, put your hand on it like this.
Flutterpage, imitating Willow, lays her hand on the didgeridoo.
Okay. Then what?
I'll teach you how to play it.
Nice. Oh, let's go to Anjonala and Melania.
Which of these darlings shall we
Usually don't
attend
need
to
do the full
first?
damage, but we're fighting the monster.
Imagine the note you want to play
Melania's
and tell
boosted.
it to the didgeridoo. Now, use your arcane skill. Not to use your words, but to harmonize with it. Observe it. Comprehend it. And then you can control it.
Oh, please. I know how to use it.
Perfectly understood.
And channel repair.
I've got some trouble brewing. Oh, don't stare at it for too long.
Keep calm.
Please, mortals!
Oh.
Breath from the crucible.
They're only taking 1 damage at a time.
It made a sound. Did you hear that?
Let me show you how it's done.
Great.
Get ready. This is going to be a crowd
Here
pleaser.
goes a big hit. And we use a mass attack for Melania. And charge up more from Kikania so we can
A simple arcane trick.
use her ultimate to boost
Wait for the
Anjonala
bomb.
as well.
A mice paw.
Oh.
I will be watching you.
Oh, and okay. Basically, after she shot Flutterpage, she just annihilated them. Great.
Perfectly understood. I've got some trouble brewing.
Buff
Oh,
Anjonala
please. I know how to use it.
and distribute that bullet.
Ready? Aim. Please, allow me. Ha! My crucible really has a mind of its own. Hold on. Psychiatrist at work. Fire.
Yes, that hurt him. Little slap with the vine. Alright, so if I
Get ready. This is going to be
make sure they do their arts. Move this back here so Milani is powered up for her hit next turn. And the only thing left I can do is Lepera, which is great. Give each other
Let's got
another
some
bullet.
trouble brew. Wait for the pop. Stay put. This'll hurt longer if I miss.
Oh, he's dead.
Time waits for no one, even for a great.
One of them dead now? After Millennium?
Dream.
I guess not. Probably these big hits don't matter much to these trees, but quick attack teams, anybody know hits? Well, she certainly did some damage. Alright. Combine that. Let's get out a tuning upgrade. Which one did I need it for?
Perfectly understood. Planets.
That'll do.
Your end draws near.
So basically,
Calm.
Milani is doing her follow for her extra attack. Charge up energy.
There's my dark embrace.
Now Kikania, Lepera, and Andronola are charged up at the same time.
Now presenting Binglasmere. Oh, please. I know. Get ready. This is going. Shall I, Master? You must see your true self. Would you care to lie down? Wait for the pop.
She fired a shot.
Time waits for no one, even for a great.
Milani do enough to take him out.
Sweet dreams.
Took one of them out. Alright. Well, that's a big hit on one.
Perfectly understood.
Charge up.
Conventional choice. Do you have a little faith in me, Master? A simple arcane trick. Shall I, Master? Let's got some trouble brew.
Her, channel.
Ready? Aim. Oh, don't stare at it for too long. Give this a taste. Fire.
Almost killed
I'm
it.
with the no, even for a great.
Got a ton of damage coming out this time, so we'll see. One piece at a time. Alright, that's dead.
Whew, that went smooth.
Exactly.
It's beautiful, like raindrops pattering on tree leaves.
Willow gently puts Flutterpage's hand aside before resting her own hand on it again.
Why's it gone quiet all of a sudden?
It's broken.
What? I didn't break it. Did I?
No. It's been broken for a long time.
Well, judging by the look of it, it must be old. It's got mildew all over.
This instrument is crucial to every floor ritualist. You see, we're not just dancers, but music makers, using our arcane skills to play the didgeridoo while we dance.
Oh, wow.
Don't worry, Miss Willow. I know broken things ain't always easy to fix, but we can start with the easy part. Why don't we wipe off the dust first?
Flutterpage picks up a loose piece of paper and moves to wipe the dust up from the didgeridoo.
Huh?
That's not
Is this
not the paper that she's supposed to touch, though, is
the
it?
athlete registration form for the qualifiers? Oh.
The girl blinks, her hair jutting out in every direction. She pauses for a moment as she slowly reads the paper.
And look, you ain't submitted it. Why not?
There's still time, isn't there?
No! You already missed the window! Blimey! We've got to do something about this. Oh, that's right. Mr. Fogg said that 2 officers from the Australian headquarters would arrive in London today. I think we can ask them to pull the... What was the...
Willow doesn't respond.
Anyway, we need to get a move on. I'll pull you up.
Flutterpage tugs desperately at Willow, who steadfastly holds her ground, leaving that a minute in pass.
Flutterpage, maybe it's time to give up.
Flutterpage turns her head.
Give up? What do you mean, give up? I don't understand. Ain't this the Uluru Games we've been talking about for ages? Think of all the effort you've made. You didn't jump up and down in the garden over and over again to dust it, did you? You're an athlete, not a feather duster. And you finished that move!
The 2.5 turn with free leg backwards and upwards, wand throw and catch.
Yeah, that one. See? How can you just give up?
Oh, please. Don't look at me like that. Yes, I've always dreamt of completing this element. No one knows better than I how much this means to me.
Then why are you...
I don't want to talk about it.
Willow lowers her head.
You should leave. I need to see what I can do to fix the didgeridoo. Don't forget to close the door behind you.
Flutterpage stands frozen, looking at Willow for what feels like forever, before pouting angrily and crouching down, her arms firmly crossed.
I ain't leaving. I'm angry.
Flutterpage is angry? Willow sighs, unsure of what to say. Willow lets the moment hang awkwardly in the air. Beneath the painting of the Irish countryside, one stands and the other squats, the grandfather clock marking each passing second with its steady tick. Eventually, Willow lightly taps Flutter Page on the head with her finger.
Don't be upset. It's not that serious.
Flutter Page continues to stare at the floor, shaking her head forcefully.
I talked to Miss Bartley yesterday.
You didn't.
Ah ha ha! Flutter Page stands up.
Yeah, I challenged her on your behalf with a letter.
Oh my!
She only visited me so she could show off all the titles she's won. She's not the first to come just to laugh in my face.
That ain't true. Caroline was happy when she got the letter.
What?
She was really looking forward to competing against you. She told me why too. She said you were the most talented and hard-working player she'd ever seen, and that it took all her effort just to keep you in her sight, let alone catch up with you. Because you're different. The one true master of the art. If there were only one gold medal in the history of the floor ritual, it'd be meant for you. Those were her exact words.
She wrestles with her memories, yet the emotional pull of the past remains palpable.
I only chose to become a floor ritualist because I had a talent for it. I wanted to win.
Those seem like the normal reasons.
So I practiced and practiced, paying little attention to anything else. My family, my friends, my life. None of it mattered more than victory.
Okay. She's certainly
To
passionate.
me, there was no reward more alluring than the euphoria of winning. But whenever I looked back at my past glories, I felt no happiness or excitement. Instead, I'd replay every moment in my mind. Every lost point, every imperfect movement, and think about how close I was to failure. So I pursued the next victory even more fervently. I thought, next time, I won't lose a single point. Next time, I'll be perfect. That was what was running through my mind when I was crowned champion of the Beltane. But there was no next time. That was my last competition.
Oh no.
But you can still have a next time. You can still try again. Look at you. Your skills haven't dulled a bit.
What's the point? I've pushed away everyone I wanted to honor with my victories. I've strayed too far from home. Not to mention...
She casts a silent glance at her leg.
Okay, but are you happy when you do the floor ritual?
Am I... happy?
See? I love being a knocker-upper. Every morning, I get to see all kinds of sleeping positions. Some people cuddle, others curl up in a ball, and some ain't even in bed at all. I like watching them wake up too, like newborn kittens learning to crawl. And finally, when they completely open their eyes and stand on their feet, I feel a gust of fresh wind rushing out the window. It makes me happy.
Aww.
So what about you? Does the floor ritual make you happy?
I don't know. The only thing that comes to mind is that after a game, me mam would take me to the old cake shop down the road and buy me a cheesecake. The same one every time.
Oh, wow.
That was the only time I'd allow myself to eat dessert. It had raspberries and chocolate drizzled on top. I can still remember the taste. Sweet and tart, with a light bitterness.
Oh, so what really makes you happy is the cheesecake after the game.
No.
What?
Right, then let's get you registered for the qualifiers so you can have that post-game celebration cheesecake again.
What are you...
let's go talk to Mr. Fogg. I'm sure he can find a way to get you into the qualifiers. And if your leg's causing you trouble or anything, Miss Tooth Fairy can help you out. She is a doctor from the Foundation, after all.
Wait.
A delicate wind brushes past, causing her legs to lose their earlier stubbornness and follow Flutterpage out of the house.
Don't you want to eat that cheesecake?
They walk beside the paintings of Ireland. They wind their way through the willow-bound torches and mysterious vessels.
Don't you think it'll make you happy?
They pass through the house's front door.
That cheesecake.
And leap out of the house.
It will, right? Then let's go get it. Life's all about happiness, ain't it?
She's a true urchin, isn't she? A fresh surge of air floods Willow's nostrils, hitting her like a full-on collision with the outside world. Lowering her gaze, she catches sight of Flutterpage hovering in the air, a delicate lock of hair swaying in the breeze.
You silly little Buzzy.
Using a hand spared from Flutterpage's tugging, Willow softly flicks at the silky strand of hair.
Why is everyone leaving the stadium?
Flutterpage is still tugging Willow in the direction of the venue, but there seem to be more and more despondent people going in the other direction.
Oi, where are you all going?
Home.
Home? Why? Mr. Fogg's holding the ribbon cutting ceremony for his machine in the stadium. Why ain't you going there?
It ain't happening.
Pardon?
I said it ain't happening. The Foundation officers cancelled, but Mr. Fogg's so-called biggest air purifier ever doesn't work.
Oh. Let's get up to... Alright, let's stop after 13. It's a good number. Part 13, the ribbon cutting ceremony. We just hit kind of a climax with Flutterpage winning over Willow 1 hour earlier.
Please enter in an orderly manner, everyone. The ceremony will begin shortly.
Beside the device, the sign originally reading London Air Pollution Auto Detecting Purifier Mark II now reads Mark III thanks to a single additional brushstroke.
Freddy, can you see Mr. Fogg? I can't see a thing past all these people.
You brought the telescope, didn't you, Dad? Maybe I can see if I look through it.
Good idea. Here, take the telescope and get on my shoulders. Hold on tight, you hear? This crowd's rabid. All this pushing and shoving just to take a look at a machine. Then again, the most exciting thing we've had around here as of late is the rats fighting in the underground.
I see him, Dad. I see Mr. Fogg.
What's he doing?
Blimey! He's smacking the machine. It's really strange looking. About half the height of Mr. Fogg and connected to a very long tube and a massive funnel. Oh! What's that? Right there inside the machine. There's a huge mechanical organ or something. Like a lung.
Oh, sod it. Hold tight, Freddy. Dad's going to squeeze his way to the front. All right, I can see them now. Eh? I don't recognize those two in uniform. Are they the officers sent from the Foundation headquarters in Australia?
Who?
That's what I heard. The Uluru Committee sent them here to supervise the qualifiers, and they'll report the results back to their headquarters too.
Ah, so it's down to them whether our athletes make it to the finals in Australia or not. I'm counting on them.
Oh, please, Will. It's the players that you should count on, not the judges.
Well, I hope they like Caroline as much as I do.
Look, Dad. Mr. Fogg's about to give a demonstration of his purifier to the officers.
I heard that it can filter out the smog within 10 yards of itself, and it only takes one night to process the waste. The qualifiers will only last 2 weeks, so it should manage splendidly.
Only 10 yards of itself, huh?
It's working! It's working!
Blimey, it's powerful. It's gulping down the smog faster than a builder downs a pint in the pub.
I wonder how it works. It's a miracle that a mechanical lung of this size
Purifies so much air without letting out any waste.
can purify so much air without letting out any waste.
The smog's getting thinner. I can see more clearly now.
Look, it's even purifying the smog all the way out there. I dare say the ivy on my balcony will be enjoying fresh air within the hour.
Mr. Fog's smiling, Dad. Ain't that great?
It is. We ain't seen him smile for ages.
The hat looks happy too. It's dancing.
Is he doing that Australian Ranger dance again? Look at the expression on those Foundation officers' faces.
They don't look happy or mad. Is something wrong?
Whoa! What's going on? The machine's shaking like hell.
Beep, beep, beep.
What's that sound? Some kind of alarm?
Beep,
Christ!
beep, beep.
Cover your ears, Freddy. That howling will make you deaf. What in the bloody hell is going on?
He grabbed too much of the bad smoke, I'm sure. Let's go back to green team.
Is this a new route?
Regular poison.
This way, please.
Poison
My
buff.
child.
And let's do 2 from Tooth Fairy.
Loading. Charging.
At your service.
I'll do the Jessica
A bloody
Bond
handprint on
Dexter.
broken glass. Classic.
Aim and shoot. Faraday's Miracle.
One's out. 2 or more out. Ooh. Can hardly get any poison down. Lucy annihilates him. Alright. Let's buff
Experience
Jessica.
fuels knowledge.
Poison
This way,
buff.
please.
And need to get this out.
Want to hit the waves?
Need to get some poison down.
That's in the sunlight.
Alright, they did get some
It's just
poison
skipping
out.
stones.
I guess from the smoke inhalation?
Shell. Damage.
And some more get taken out. Whereas these armored carbuncles are coming out now. Great. Going to super...
Loading.
Super
See how my
Sun
skills
mode.
glisten in the sunlight.
10 more
Your
poison.
lunch is ready, dear.
I want to get out one of these so I can upgrade this. That over here. And do these 3. Super
See how
Sun
my
mode,
skills glisten.
Your lunch is ready, dear.
and a ton of
Ride the
poison.
rolling waves.
The sparkling of the sea, the shimmering of the
Jessica
scales.
boosted poison.
There is always a light to follow.
Poison boosted damage.
Knock, knock. Room service.
Service.
Hold my hand.
Great. 2 more down. Ooh, I'm cleaning them out fast. Jessica hit them with a ton of damage.
It's a big party for my little boat.
Let's booze Tuesdays so she can get her rolled out again. Now let's do Boof the Poison again after the other ones died. And hit them with Jessica's single target attack.
Want to hit the waves?
And I've got another one. Multi-target beam attack.
Charlie, you can't separate a boat from her oars.
You're ranking it.
Come on in, water's fine.
This is the last group. And they're also dead.
And now to return to my long-term mission. Rest.
Boom! It just exploded.
Dad?
Freddy, are you all right?
I'm fine. It's the machine. It blew up.
What?
First the pipe blew open, then its glass belly shattered, and the mechanical lung rolled out from inside. It's vomiting up black blood.
There's no way.
And Mr.
What happened to him?
He's coughing and coughing.
3.5 minutes.
I guess neither one of us won that bet. It didn't even last half as long as I predicted.
Don't be cruel, Gregory. We didn't come all this way just to laugh at these poor people.
But they did do even worse than predicted. That's a fact, isn't it? And it proves that the London Climate Management Agency is nothing but a joke.
Listen, Gregory, I know you must be exhausted from the long journey and your constant sneezing, but you can't say that to their faces. Let's just do our job and give them the news.
What news?
She flips through the athlete roster in her hand.
We have to tell them.
She verifies the list, ensuring that all the names of the Arcanist athletes are accounted for. When she's done for, she lightly pats Mr. Fogg on the shoulder.
Mr. Fogg? Mr. Fogg?
Mr. Fogg turns his head, his eyes vacant. It seems he hasn't yet got over the shock of this series of events.
Please move aside. I need to use the microphone.
Mr. Fogg slowly steps aside.
Oi, miss! What are you...
He quickly realizes the impropriety of his obstruction, tips his brim, and floats gently in the air.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for coming to the ceremony today. We greatly appreciate your hospitality, and it heartens us to see you thriving despite the difficulties caused by the smog. However, it is clear to us that the London Air Pollution Auto-Detecting Purifier Mark III is not able to fulfill its duty. Barring an effective solution, the smog shrouding London will do irreversible damage to both the athletes and the general populace if they stay outdoors for too long. In light of this, and after much consideration, the Uluru International Committee has decided to cancel the London qualifiers for the Uluru Games. We will announce arrangements for the affected players once internal discussions are over.
Behind her cold mask, the woman methodically scans the crowd. The previously raucous energy of the crowd has been replaced by uniform disappointment.
Thank you all for your hard work.
What? Are you saying that the London qualifiers have been cancelled?
I'm afraid so. I wasn't there, but Mr. Brimley told me what happened in the stadium. Mr. Fogg has locked himself in his office. He's refusing to speak to anyone. It seems there's nothing we can do about it.
Willow pulls her hand away from Flutter Pages and gives her a solemn look. Without a word, she turns and leaves.
Miss Willow? Where are you going?
Where you going?
Miss Willow! Miss Willow!
She tries to chase after her, but a flood of workers sent down to take the site blocks her way.
Miss Willow!
Willow turns and gives her one last glance before slipping away into the bustling crowd. Flutter Page lifts her head, her eyes meeting Tooth Fairy's.
Miss Tooth Fairy, why?
Looks like a good place to leave off. Finish it up this week. Thursday or Friday. Can I get? At least one of these. Or I can do some more surprise. Finish this up and I can get the other one. Green.
Is this a new route?
Poison this way, please.
And
loading. Charging.
Lucy.
A real troublemaker of a guest, aren't you? A bloody handprint on broken glass. Classic.
Barrage. Eliminate target.
Almost going. Oh, second one going.
Although we come from different lands,
Alright. Got that. Here, let's go to a couple summons in here.
Aloha! Welcome to...
492760. 4A6F6.
Purple.
Ow! Sorry. Hello, I'm Lisa.
Don't panic, my lord.
Alright, that's enough for now. We're getting close. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's 60. And I think it has a 59. I think it has a pity of 70. After 60 consecutive summons, So I'm about to hit soft pity. And then hard pity is at 7. Almost there.
You just taught me a lesson. It seems that kids... You had a productive day
All
and
right,
deserve
and,
a relaxing night.
Let's get out and
No reason
consider
for
a
anyone
raid.
to get in your way.
So what have we got here? Daisy May VT. Let's see if we can find something story focused. I haven't rated her before, and she's pretty low on hers. I always love Sushi Dog. Love to rate her. Alright, I think maybe okay, that's what I remember. She does not allow raids. Let's see what Are You Wrong has been doing.
My progressive rep was super helpful.
Tom Hayes is passive progressive.
The way Kevin says it.
I'll get on with you. Okay, great. Alright, this looks fun. And she really does have such a small chat. Raid has been created, we're about to go. Launching.